Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, use the promo code Gregor50 or Summer 100 if you use a $20 deposit for the last one and get $100 for a casino, or just use Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. And man, we got a big show, lots and lots to discuss today. Of course, if you are a Major League Baseball fan, the Jays and the Yankees starting a 3-game series tonight. Now, this is a huge week for the Jays. They play 7 games in 7 days. I look, this is a 7-game series. If the Jays can go 4-3, that's a big win because you got the Yankees, who are 3 games back of them, and you have the Detroit Tigers, who currently are 2 games up on the Jays. So, you know what? It's going to be a tough week. So if the Jays could find a way to go 4-3, like beat the Yankees 2-1 and split the series against Detroit, I think that'd be a huge win. Detroit is 32-18 at home. They are pretty good, although the Jays, not too shabby themselves. The Jays are now 35-16 at home, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the most wins in the major leagues of baseball at home field. They've won 10 in a row, could set a franchise record tonight for their 11th consecutive home win. So lots on the line tonight for the Jays. Also, today we are going to touch on, I promised it last week, I said I was going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the schedule, and it should be coming up here right away at OilersNation.com, just about the schedule. I try to look a little bit deeper because people, when they look at it, and okay, here, there, well, how many back-to-backs the Oilers have? Okay, well, it's good to know that, but how does it compare to everybody else around the NHL? In case you're wondering, the Oilers have 13 sets of back-to-back games this year. LA, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, and San Jose have the most at 16. Carolina, Columbus, New Jersey, Tampa Bay, Toronto have 15. Minnesota, Ottawa, Philly, and Washington each have 14. So, do the math. The Oilers are kind of right in the middle of the pack. There's actually 10 teams with 13 games. Winnipeg and Calgary have the fewest sets of back-to-back, each with 9. But then I look at, okay, and back-to-back games, by the way, when your team is going into a back-to-back set, guess what? Odds aren't great. If you look at last season, last year in the Western Conference teams combined to have a 401 winning percentage. So they won basically 40% of the time. The Eastern teams were 434, so a little bit better. But a lot of it had to do, now I broke it down to what if the game's at home, what if it's on the road. The East actually had 72 games at home and 135 on the road. The West had 49 games at home and 138 on the road. So they travel. Look at Edmonton. Look at how many times they travel out east and they play twice back-to-back against 2 teams. Now, sometimes that happens when they go out west, but way more when they go out east. How often are the Oilers at home or facing a team back-to-back? Not as often, right? So, like Edmonton, Calgary, it does happen for sure. They'll play in Edmonton one night, Calgary the next night, or Vancouver mixes in. The odd time, the Jets, that's the hardest one for sure when you mix it in. But the Oilers, while they're middle of the pack when it comes to back-to-back games, the Oilers actually have 16 games where they play a team who's on the second half of a back-to-back. Now, that's an advantage. Detroit, Montreal, and Pittsburgh are at 19. Boston, LA, and the Islanders are at 17. And then the Oilers, Anaheim, Columbus, and the Rangers are at 16. So you think about it, the only teams who made the playoffs last year, Montreal, the Kings, and the Oilers are in the top 10 this year of having most games against a team on the second half of a back-to-back. So that could help them. The other thing that's the big change for the Oilers this year, and that's why I wanted to do a deep dive and got some help from NHL.com as the NHL stats guys. These are their stats numbers when it comes to travel, distance traveled on the season. Now, I know that geography, Edmonton is always going to be one who travels lots. Vancouver, Dallas, because of where they're located. Right? San Jose, Colorado, those teams usually have a lot of travel. And the Oilers this year, usually Edmonton's in the top 3 or 4. This year, the Oilers are down to 9th because they're actually going to have 10,000 fewer kilometers traveled this year than last year. That's a pretty big reduction, 10K. And you know why? Because when they go out east, they're only taking 3 trips this year to get their 16 games done. They have a 5-gamer in October, a 7-game road trip against Eastern teams in November, and then another 5-gamer that has 4 teams again in the East, and it wraps up with Minnesota on the way home. So they're only going out east 3 times. Usually, dating back to 2016, the Oilers would either travel 5 times, or one year they actually had 6 in 2024. 6 trips out east. So that's a significant amount of more travel. Now the Oilers only have 3 trips out east. So way less travel. Now, yes, and they also have none of it after December 18th. So we'll have to see. They have a lot early on. The organization feels, hey, this is good. We can team bond. Yeah, you hear that all the time. And maybe it's true. We'll see. But, the Oilers have a few sets of back-to-back. None of it's terrible travel. Like, once you get out there, it's not far. It's all little, jumps. Now, Tampa and Florida are probably the only 2 exceptions to that. And on their 7-game road trip, their last 2 games are Tampa and Florida. So not ideal. But the Oilers schedule this year, when I look at it from distance travel, that's a massive gain. The fact that they won't have to go to the Eastern time zone after December 18th, that should, in theory and practicality, we know, never always jive. Or they don't always jive. They do sometimes, not never, but they don't always jive. So we'll see how it goes. If they're healthy, I think that could be a big advantage for them in the second half of the season. Because I went back to those last 10 years, and I looked. Usually, they are playing between January to April. The fewest games they ever played was 4. That was in 2018. Other than that, the fewest they've ever had was 8, all the way up to as many as 12, 13 actually in 2021. But that's because Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal were in the Canadian division with them, so you had to go out east more. So that's still, and even then, they only made 5 trips because when they went out there, they play like 4, 6 games on each one, a little bit different. But that's a significant reduction in the amount of games in the Eastern time zone, January, February, March, April. Last year, the Oilers had 11. 2 in January, 4 in February, 5 in March. This year, none. So will it be advantageous? We'll find out. But the fact that it's 10,000 less kilometers, they should, in theory, be more rested at the end of the season because of it. Like that's a pretty big drop from 80,000 kilometers to 70. So pretty big reduction. The other thing that happened last year that isn't good, scoring decrease. Now, last year, there was 6.08 goals per game. It was 6.36 in 23, 6.23 in 24. So that's a drop from 36 to 23 to 8. It's going in the wrong direction. But here's where the massive, and it's not hard to figure out. Now, there's an increase in empty net goals because teams are pulling their goalie more frequently and earlier than ever before. So that's fine. There was 524 empty net goals last year across the league. 447 the year before. 438 before that. But here, as a fan of the game, when you watch the game and you feel at times your frustration level is peaking, guess what? It's because in 2023, there was 8,058 power play opportunities across the NHL. This past season, 7,101. So that's 957 fewer power plays from 2 years ago. And even last year in 2024, it was 79-17. Right? That's a significant drop. Significant. Are you telling me the players are that much more disciplined? Get out of here. No chance. They're not. The league has started to slack off. And because of that, here's what happens. You know where it's impacting scoring? Not the 50-point players. Not really the 60-pointers, but the 90 and 100-point players. In 2023, there was 19 players who had 90-plus points. 11 of them had 100-plus. In 2024, 17 players had 90-plus points. 9 of them had 100. Last year, 12 players had 90 points and 6 had 100. So in 2 years, you went from 19 down to 12. It's a 45% reduction in 90-point players in the league. A 36% reduction. Or sorry, it was 45% of 100-point players, 36% in 90-point players. Why? Because you're not calling as many penalties. You're having fewer power plays. And your best guys are taking more abuse. Like, this isn't hard to figure out. Because here's 50-point players. 136 in 2023, then up to 139, and then down to 133. So the 3-year average is the same, 136. Hasn't changed. But the top end guys, the higher the point total, it goes down. It's impacting the better players. Who has the puck the most? The better players. The 90-point guys or the 50-point guys? Who do you think has the puck more? We all know it. So less infractions are being called on the best players. That is a trend that if I'm Gary Bettman or if I'm the head of the NHLPA, I do not want. I don't want that trend for my league. What sells in the regular season? Offense, baby. Leads, goals. I'm just saying call the damn rule book. I'm not saying make up calls. I'm not saying be overly sensitive to any time somebody gets touched. Not at all. Just call the damn rule book. It's written out. It's there for a reason. Just call it. That's all you have to do. It would make it way better for hockey. So now that I compiled all these numbers, I'm going to send it to a few GMs and say, what do you guys like? Why don't you talk about this stuff? Like, it's ridiculous. It needs to be addressed. It's stupid. A reduction of almost 1,000 power plays in a 2-year span. Name another league that has that. Just name one. Makes no sense. We are going to talk Jays in hour number 1. Bill Schmidt will join us. We're going to talk a little Packers as we start our NFL previews. We got Woodley from In Goal Magazine in the 4 o'clock hour. We got Speck. We're going to hear from a member of the Elks. The Elks, of course, getting set. They're going to have to be on their toes, baby. They're going into Saskatchewan, and that will be far from an easy game this weekend. Also, Chris Scheetz is he's going to try to break a world record. We'll talk to him about that. So, and we'll tie it into you because I'm sure many of you will have thoughts on that. We got Tater with the 2-minute warning. Connor Halley is here. Conman, how you doing?
Doing good, Gregor. Nice weekend. Chance to just kind of stay inside and not to go with all the rainy weather going on and such. Try to avoid it a little bit, but yeah, doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm great. You know what? It rained a little bit, so that I don't mind the rain. I was is emptying the hot tub day, so it's one of those things you put off. You're like, well, might as well do it now. So I did that, but I bought a sump pump and I didn't pay close enough attention, and it was like the slowest draining sump pump of all time. So I ended up basically hand bogging most of the because my patience was just running thin. So I'm like, whatever. So watering all the trees around. Like I know there's a little bit of salt to the front boulevard. It's technically not mine, so I'm watering them and just giving me something to do. Like when it's raining out, I'm like, I can't just sit still all day. But I did go watch the F1 movie with my son, who's 11, and my wife. And my son came out and was like, Dad, that's my favorite movie.
Really?
He really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I would recommend the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. It was pretty good. We watched that. And then on yesterday, have you ever watched the movie Radio with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Oh.
It's based on a true story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd never seen it before.
Good movie.
Watch. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then actually James Robert Kennedy, for people who don't know, James Robert Kennedy, he had a disability, had a brain injury, and got hit by a car. He was actually born with it. Got hit by a car. Couldn't really speak. Did end up speaking, and really spent many years of his life where he wasn't really part of society, just kind of on the fringes, on the outskirts. And then he had a coach, Coach Jones, who started welcoming him into his practices and helping out. Then eventually he was obviously one of the teachers at school, and James was at the Hannah School for over 40 years. Basically, like he was a repeat grade 11er all the time and just did things. And kids in the school, they love it. So I'm going to try to track down someone from Hannah to talk about James, because I think it'd be like somebody who went to that school, whether they played in the football team or not. Story like that's unbelievable. So if you're looking, because it's supposed to rain a few more days this week, if you're ever looking on Netflix for a movie that's good for the family, I watched it with my son. It's a little bit of a tearjerker at times, but it's a great lesson on, how to help others. And when you give them opportunities, they can really flourish. It's a great movie.
Chadwick Boseman went to that high school.
Come on.
And so did former, off-season Elk, Martavis Bryant and Ben Buller. That's
Martavis Bryant went there?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Just looking it up on the Wikipedia page here. So
might have to track down some of these guys, and they'll be honest.
Say there might be some guys that we can actually
look
at
Chadwick,
here.
But yes, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah.
I just think it would be cool. If anybody hasn't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. It was great. It was a great flick. So we got a few texts coming in: 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, I've heard a few people say give Connor the rest of the Olympic athletes time off after the Olympics. Will the league penalize teams who do that? Well, how can you penalize a team who does it? How do you know if they got injured or not? You don't know. There's nothing the team can do if you want to. And I've said it before. If I'm the Edmonton Oilers, I think the Oilers, they come back after the Olympic break and they start with back-to-back games. Well, first of all, there's zero chance of playing with Big David in both of those games. Now, Draisaitl might be a little bit different because Germany, do I think they're going to go as deep in the Olympic tournament? Probably not. Now, maybe they shock the world and maybe they're into the semifinal or something. Well, that would be different. But if you get in and you don't have that much time off, damn straight, I would do it. Like, to me, the NHL team owes it to their players and their teammates say, hey, we want these guys to be fresh as possible. And guess what? It's a road game. So it's a little bit easier sell. Your fans are like, whatever. Right? They got Anaheim and LA. I know it's not ideal, but you got to have confidence in your team. They won games last year down the stretch without McDavid and Draisaitl. I get it's not ideal, but I would look at doing it. Yes, I would definitely look at doing it. So, and can they get penalized? No, there's nothing in the CBA that would suggest if you sit a guy out when they're healthy, that they're going to get penalized. It happens in game 81 and game 82. So why can't it happen in whatever game that is for the Oilers? 63, 58. I don't even know what number it is. So I would, I'd have no problem if they'd offer to do it. Right. Hey, Gregor, the Oilers have 8 early games. Toronto has a total of 2. They're so precious, Dave. Well, Dave, here's the thing. I talk to so many players. When the Oilers play in an afternoon game on Saturday and an afternoon game on Sunday, they'd much rather play back-to-back afternoon games. It's actually beneficial to your team. You play in New Jersey on Saturday, right, at 1:30 Eastern. The game's over. You fly to Detroit. You're dinner home in bed at 9:30 or 10. Whereas if you play the game at 7 o'clock, even if it's short travel, you're not getting until 1 or 2. Just talk to any sleep expert. I actually think the more afternoon games a team can have, the better. I know that, I don't buy this. I don't like watching in the afternoon. It's 8 games a year. It's 10% of the games. And while you say you hate it, most of you still watch it. Now, maybe you have life, and that's okay. Life gets in the way of things. Whether your son or daughter or yourself has a men's league game, women's league game, kids games, well, you can have games during the week as well. Doesn't really change to me. So I'd actually, if I was at GM, I would be pushing for more afternoon games, especially when they're back-to-back. And I talk to players about the rest factor and how it allows them to get a better night's sleep the next night. So I would be all over it. All over it. So coming up, speaking of all over it, this is a great week. If you're a sports fan, okay, if you're a Jays fan, heck, if you're a pitching fan, the Tigers, I can't wait to watch the Tigers. And the Jays and the Yankees go at it tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then the Jays and the Tigers Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So a big week for the Toronto Blue Jays, who came out of the All-Star break and picked up right where they left off. They swept San Francisco, who isn't chump change. San Francisco came in to that. They were right in the wild card hunt. Now they're 2.5 back because they got swept by the Jays. And now the Yankees come to town. And Toronto, hottest team in MLB, 32-13 in their last 45 games. So we'll discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about Scottie Scheffler because anybody who listens to this show knows I love numbers and things that match up. And I talked about it before. I said, man, Scottie Scheffler is on track. Now, on track and doing it are 2 very different things. but he's in a right now in like a rhythm that we haven't really seen since Tiger. He's got 11 wins last year and this year already. 3 of them are majors. If you go back, 4 of them are majors now. Scottie Scheffler, his first major to his 4th major, 1,197 days. Exact same amount of days for Tiger Woods to go from his first to his 4th. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, the next one's going to be really tough. I don't expect Scheffler to be on a majors pace like Tiger is. But the difference is, remember, Tiger got injured so Scottie Scheffler, well, he's probably not going to be as prolific over the next 6 years as Tiger was. Then Tiger didn't win another major for 10 years. So could Scottie Scheffler, I think Scottie Scheffler has a legit chance to get double digits in majors. Now, to get to 14, that'd be crazy. Right? It's why I said Tiger would never catch Jack. I think it's going to be really hard for Scheffler to catch Woods. But obviously, 14 is easier than 18. So, but could he get to 10? Get to double digits? I think he very much could. Like, he is dominating. When Tiger won all those tournaments, he was unreal. But he only had 6 of them by 4+ strokes or more. And Scheffler's already had 7 of his 11. He's won by 4 strokes or more. Like, he's not just winning, he's dominating the best golfer in the world. It's pretty impressive. So we'll talk about that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock beef jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock beef jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc. On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Just Brab and 118th.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, but the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
You got the diamond, you got 9 men,
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, wow. Hey, man, that's how it is. I'm guessing tonight an easy sellout in Toronto, taking on the Yankees tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then the Blue Jays will head out to Detroit to take on the Tigers, who currently have the most wins in the AL with 60. Jays nipping at their heels with 58, and that should be a heck of a series as well. I kind of look at it. This is like a week of a 7-game series. Just win 4. You go 4-3. That's a damn good week. At least that's what I think. As let's get to our MLB report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. From Sportsnet, Ben Nicholson-Smith joins us once again. And Ben, do you look at this like a 7-game series and just win the series? Just get 4 out of 7. That'd be a pretty good week against 2 good teams.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they have a day off, so I think it's 6 games that they have here. So, yeah, even if they go 3-3 against the Tigers, the Yankees, I think that would definitely be a success. They have built so much of a cushion that they don't have to play catch-up. They don't have to go out there and win 7 in a row or 10 in a row again to be a viable major league contender. They've already put themselves in that spot. So I think they're in a really good place. And, yeah, if they can go 3-3 here, that would be a strong week.
You look at the Blue Jays, and some. I'm sure there were some because hey, it's the Jays, and they're not really sure, and they lose 2 to Oakland, and you're thinking, but they come back, and San Fran's a really good team, and they really just picked off the bottom of the order again, coming up with huge hits for the Jays.
Absolutely, yeah. There was a day on the weekend where they went 5 for 10 with 6 RBI. That was on Saturday, and that is just remarkable production. Really, it's been the story of this season in a lot of ways, where you have guys like Tyler Heineman and Miles Straw stepping up. You have Ernie Clement and Addison Barger, who have really become everyday players on this team. So you look around, and it's a lot of depth, and it's contributions from guys that you weren't necessarily expecting to see performing at this level. And then you extend it to the pitching side, where you have Eric Lauer and Braden Fisher stepping up in big ways for this team. And this is how you get into first place. Despite having very limited contributions from guys like Anthony Santander and Andres Jimenez. So they're in a really good spot, and a ton of credit goes to the guys at the bottom of the order.
Yeah. What are you hearing on Manoah?
Well, he just completed his 2nd rehab start. That was at Class A Dunedin, and that was over the weekend. And he was able to complete 2 innings. So that's a really good step for him. He was up to 28 pitches. Now, he's going to have to get close to 100 pitches before he comes back to a major league game. And they're going to need to see him get through maybe 4 or 5 innings before he's a viable option in the majors. So as of now, he's still in that rehab process. He's on the 30-day clock. So by mid-August, he needs to be back and really ready to produce in the major leagues. So we'll see what that progress looks like. But as of now, he's making the strides that the Blue Jays want him to make.
Do you think, like, when he comes back, would he be in a starter role, or do you think like middle reliever? Is it starter or bust for him? What do you think?
I think it's almost like spring training, where the Blue Jays are going to stretch him out. They're going to make sure that they give him every chance to be a starting pitcher. That's what he's been his entire professional career, is a starting pitcher. And so they're going to stretch him out with that goal in mind, using all his pitches, going, multiple ups and downs, multiple times through the order, just to try to get to that level where he's an option for the rotation. Now, if Max Scherzer happens to still be healthy and Eric Lauer is still producing, and then their veteran trio of Bassett, Barrios, and Gosman are also performing and healthy in mid-August, then maybe you look at Manoah in some sort of 6th starter role, long relief role. You can get creative, but as of now, the plan 100% is for him to be a starting pitcher.
Okay. Varsho, back playing, had a good, first appearance, I guess. How many more games do you think before you see him?
So it sounds like the plan now is for him to go to AAA and join the AAA team probably tomorrow. They're off on Mondays. So probably tomorrow, get a few games in there. So he won't be back with the Blue Jays for this Yankees series. But if that goes well at AAA for a few games, he could be a viable option for this weekend against the Tigers. And that would obviously be huge for the Blue Jays when you just look at what Varsho can do defensively. And then it puts some other guys into maybe more complementary roles, whether that's a Miles Straw or a Nathan Lucas. So the Jays are in a good spot because, as we were saying before, their depth guys have contributed so much. But at the same time, it's not something that there's a huge sense of urgency on. So Varsho can take his time, progress, make sure he's fully healthy, and then get back to where he should be in center field.
Ben, I should just let you know, don't plan Thursday off. It is 7 games this week, 3 against the Yankees, and then they're in Detroit Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the Jays are in another stretch of 13 straight days where they play, right? So
well, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm glad. You know what? This is good. In my head, it was an off day.
Yes.
And you know what? Sometimes it's good to get these reminders. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I would say 4-3 would be great considering the caliber of this competition.
Yeah.
Even if you go 3-4, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's not like the Yankee one. Obviously, that you want to win the division, and I know it's such a long season, but you're getting to the point now in head-to-head series, those games could matter even more. And like the Jays, the hottest team in MLB for the last 45 games, not 10 games, 45 games. And like you look at guys like Barger and them, like we're kind of past the point of, oh, it's just a hot streak.
Oh, for sure. I think with Barger, he's someone who you just can't fake that kind of power that he has, and you can't fake the arm strength. So those are two things that are really impressive tools that play in the major leagues and play against the best players in the world. I think we're seeing that on a pretty consistent basis. So now it's one thing to have that tool in batting practice, and it's another thing to be able to make the most of it in games. What we're actually seeing now is that he can do it in games, and he can do it against very good pitchers. So that's a huge development for the Blue Jays, because even a year ago, he could throw it 99 miles an hour from right field. He could connect and hit some pretty impressive moonshot home runs. But now to see it against the very best pitchers in the world tells you that he is making progress, and it tells you that he's a really, really important part of this team as they move ahead.
Oh, well, like, so when where do you think is best for him to play and maybe hit as far in the lineup, assuming that Varsho's back and he's healthy? Where would you play on an ideal basis? Where would you play Barger?
It's amazing because he's actually pretty solid at both positions. I think their best configuration is probably Arnie Clement at third, Bo Bichette at short, Andres Jimenez at second, Barger in right field. But if you're facing a right-handed pitcher and you want to start Clement on the bench, then you could definitely put Barger at third base, and then that would maybe open up an outfield spot for someone like Nathan Lucas, who hits right-handed pitching really well. So I think they have this luxury of being able to put him in either spot. Technically speaking, I mean, you've got to love the arm in right field. That's a pretty impressive throwing arm to be able to put out there and make a difference for you. So I would lean slightly toward right field, but I think the most valuable of all is what we're seeing right now, where he can switch between the two.
Ben Nicholson-Smith joins us from Rogers Sportsnet, discussing the Jays and the Yankees. Just looking at the game tonight, and really kind of when you look maybe at the 3 games, the Yankees they kind of held back some of their best pitchers for this series, Ben. So they obviously are viewing it as pretty important.
As they should. I mean, they're behind, right? They have to catch up. So the pressure's on them. And they absolutely should put the importance on these games as opposed to Atlanta, where they were over the break or coming out of the break. And of course, those games matter too. But if you win in Atlanta, you don't have the chance to push down your biggest rival. So it makes a lot of sense. I think this is probably why they had Carlos Rodon start today. With Max Fried, he's dealing with some blisters. So that's a situation where they might have wanted just to let him recover a little bit more before putting him into the rotation. But I think we're seeing it from both sides. Where for the Blue Jays too, They didn't use Jeff Hoffman. He had only thrown 11 pitches on Saturday. So they could have used him on Sunday in a safe situation, but instead they went to Yariel Rodriguez knowing that they wanted to have Jeff Hoffman fresh for the Yankees series. So I think it cuts both ways, and both teams definitely taking this series seriously, as they should.
Yeah, and looking at the Jays, do you what do you make of Lauer? And just how like every start you kind of not that you eventually wonder, well, is this guy going to fall off? And it just doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, he's been great. It's really been impressive to see what he's been able to do. And for a guy who was signed to a minor league deal over the offseason, nobody expected this, right? Nobody thought that he was going to rediscover the form that he had with the Brewers for a couple seasons. And look, it's not overpowering stuff. He's not out there throwing 97, but clearly he knows how to mix and match and throw enough strikes, get ahead of hitters, and just make the most of what he does have to get results against some really, really good offenses. So his next test is going to be a big one against the Tigers. That's a team that can score a lot of runs.
Yeah.
And also it's a team that the Blue Jays might be in competition with for a first-round bye. So, at the end of the season, Jays, Yankees, Astros, Tigers, these are the teams that are likely to be in competition for that first-round bye, which, of course, is so important when it comes to just giving yourself a little bit of an edge.
Let's quickly go to to Rodon, and what do the Jays got to watch for tonight? What do you feel is his best stuff, and how do you get to him?
It's a tough one. I mean, the Jays have lined up 8 right-handed hitters against him, so that's part of it, where they're going to try to get the platoon advantage against Carlos Rodon, but he's good against righties, he's good against lefties. There's just no easy way to get him out. So, or to get hits against him. So it's going to be a challenge. First game of a series, you always want to get to that bullpen early. So if there's any chance for the Blue Jays to be able to maybe get him out of there after 4 1/3, 4 2/3, get to the bullpen early, put some pressure on Aaron Boone and that Yankees bullpen, I'm sure the Jays would be thrilled to do that. But Rodon really is one of the best pitchers in the American League. So it's not going to be.
Ben, appreciate this, man. Sorry to ruin your plans for a day off, but now you can just have one more travel day. So enjoy that, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
There you go. It's Ben Nicholson-Smith joining us from Sportsnet. The Jays got the Yanks 3 games at home, and then they're on the road in Detroit for 3. So it's Rodon versus Gausman tonight. Tomorrow it's Schlittler versus Max Scherzer, and on Wednesday the Jays will have Fried versus Bissett. So that's a good pitchers matchup. All 3 games coming up this week. 2:39. We got a lot. You can. My article is now up if you want to read it. We'll get to it. If you want to follow along, we'll kind of deep dive into some of the numbers on the drop in scoring in the NHL, where it's coming from. Also, the Oilers really bucking a trend, something they've never done in their franchise history. It's going to happen next season. We'll talk about that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Day or night, tasting just right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We return Monday afternoon, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 to get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. And, of course, the Jays and the Yanks, if you're feeling rather frisky about the Jays, the opportunity to see what they can do tonight. Of course, they are at home. And the Jays, what? Jays are slight underdogs. PlayAlberta.ca, taking that, man. For sure. Got better odds. Do it. PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of text to get to. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We'll get to that in our eWell inbox. But first, we're going to go in the room, almost literally, brought to you by Action Electrical. Their service division as one, they got the new bucket truck and working height. They can be using all exterior lighting, electrical repairs, and more. So they keep expanding. They got the service division now, actionelectrical.net. And while we technically go in the room, we're actually going to go into the Ferris wheel down at K-Days as Chris Scheetz is currently trying to set a world record for the longest consecutive stretch of time riding the Ferris wheel. Scheetz, how you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You're on the Ferris wheel as we speak. So how long do you have to ride this thing for?
54 hours. I'm 54. I think we're fairly close to the same age. I think you're a little younger, but 54 hours. 53 is the current record, and so I decided to do 54. And I tell you what, the first 3 hours and 45 minutes have been very exciting from a weather perspective. We have had everything from sleet. I'm sure we've had snow. I think we have. We're currently 110 feet above the ground. I'm not sure if the Action Electrical bucket truck can get this high, but we're up in the air right now, and it is a chilly day. But again, we're doing it for all the right reasons.
So now I see, do you have like is that like a tarp beside you? What it got on you to keep it cold from the rain?
I stopped at Canadian Tire on my way here, and I bought myself a green tarp, and it's great until it feels like it wants to lift the whole bucket off the Ferris wheel. So it's a bit of a challenge, but we're trying to keep all of our equipment dry. Eli's doing a great job of trying to live stream and capture as much of this as possible, because we have all sorts of special guests that are joining us. We just earlier we had Ashley Collingbull, the first Indigenous swimsuit, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model from Enoch, and we're going to have Gene Principe. Gino's coming on the Ferris wheel a little bit later on this afternoon. Superfan Magoo, for heaven's sake, on this Indigenous Day. So we're going to have Dan Davidson from your sister station, CFCW, coming to play some songs a little bit later on this evening. We're going to keep myself entertained and hopefully everybody else on the live stream as well.
So now, how can people support you on this? If they go to Katie's, what do they do?
Yeah, come to K-Days, come to the Ferris wheel. We've got your opportunity to donate if you'd like. We can also take your donations for this this cause. It's Alberta Dreams. I'll get to in a minute, but albertadreams.ca is the website. albertadreams.ca. Gregor, I know your listeners are the most generous on the planet. So if they can help out this great cause, Alberta Dreams, for almost 40 years, has been delivering dreams to severely, chronically, and very seriously ill children all over the province of Alberta. And we're going to try to raise $54,000, $1,000 an hour. And with your support and support of people like Golden Spike Lumber and Spruce Grove that stepped up huge as our presenting sponsor, hopefully we can get 54 by the time I get off the Ferris wheel on Wednesday at 5 p.m.
So now I'm assuming you're not wearing a catheter right now. So how do you,
No.
what's the rules for that?
Yeah, I'm not quite at the adult diaper stage yet,
You're
but
getting pretty close, though.
a little. Yeah, you know what? Hey, it's handy. What can you say? But when it comes to these records, you have 5 minutes an hour for maintenance, they call it. I've been on since 11 this morning, and it's almost 3. I have not left. I have not touched foot on the ground, so I'm planning to legitimately stay in this Ferris wheel for as long as possible. Sleep overnight in the Ferris wheel. And, you know, the bottom line is this is going to be uncomfortable. It's already been uncomfortable. My underwear are already soaking wet, and that's not because I peed in them. But again, these kids deal with uncomfortable situations every day of their lives. So it's the least we can do to help them out.
So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about albertadreams.ca. For some people, it used to be called the Rainbow Society, but they've changed the name. But give us a recap of exactly what Alberta Dreams is and who they help.
Sure. So Alberta Dreams has been around for 39 years. Next year will be the 40th. 1986 was the first time that they did a dream. And as the Rainbow Society, they've actually done dreams almost to the tune of 1,250 over those years. 320 different communities in Alberta have had a dream that's delivered to them. So if you're in a community outside of Edmonton, there's a very good chance that a dream has come there. Things like tent trailers for families that were tenting with disabled children. We've got a young man out by Vegreville who's got uncontrollable tumors that just keep showing up. They're not cancerous, but he requires the stollery every 3 weeks, and he wanted an epic skating rink. That's going to be built for him. Just the classic Disneyland and Disney World trips happen as well. But some of these long-standing dreams, Evie was the very first person that rode the wheel with me today. She was only 700 grams and 4 months premature, 7 years old, and she has a lot of challenges in her life, but she loves water. She loves to swim, so we helped her get a swim spa in their backyard. She was the first person to ride on the wheel today, and the smile on her face when we were going around was absolutely amazing. So it's all about these kids. Like, honestly, do I like to do crazy and wild, wacky things and drive Zambonis from Calgary to Edmonton 100%? But none of that matters unless you can do it for a reason. You from New Sarepta, me from Thorsby, we were cut from the same cloth. When people need help, your neighbors need help, you step up. And I see a lot of these kids that need help and need people to step up. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Chris Scheetz joins us. He is live from the Ferris wheel at K-Days, and he'll be riding it. He's not even fully done yet, hour number 4. So he only has 15 hours to go yet after this, which is great. He'll be sleeping on it. He rides it. So if you come down there, go say hi with Chris. Maybe you can go for a. Now, do you have a special thing? Like, Do people, if they want, they make a donation, can they go on a loop-de-loop around the Ferris wheel with you? How does that work?
Here's the deal. I'm going to, you make a donation, I'll find a way to put you on here. But a bunch of companies and businesses have stepped up, and they're spending $1,000, for example. This hour, it's Performance Paving's hour, and they spend $1,000. They have the opportunity to either sponsor a family to come, or they can come themselves and get on with me, and they get shirts saying they rode the wheel. They can be part of this world record ride, and so far we've had some pretty good traction when it comes to that, and we need more traction because we're still, again, very short of our 54,000. But there's a company out there that's listening that would love to support a great cause and have some fun, maybe as an organization. The weather's already getting nicer. As soon as we started talking to you, the sun comes out, Gregor. You're good luck.
Hey, that's what we are, buddy. We're a breath of bright light in a dark time. That's what
you really are. And Gene Principe, I don't know if you heard, but I was at the Great Outdoors Comedy Fest last night, and Martin Short interviewed him as Jiminy Glick, and Gene's bringing his 3 grown adult kids to ride the Ferris wheel with us today, and I can't wait to talk to him about his experience yesterday at the Great Outdoors Comedy Fest with the great Martin Short. So all sorts of fun things are going to happen here, but again, at the end of the day, when I get off at 5 on Wednesday, I want to blow I've never not gotten, and these are the same way, you've never not gotten to the total that you wanted to raise when it came to charity, whether it's your grad thing or anything else that you've done in the past, and the same with me. So I don't want this to be the time when we don't get to our goal.
Now, I'm seeing as you're talking to us, you're riding the Ferris wheel. It's the wonders of technology, and we're doing it on stream. People are watching on YouTube. Now you've been doing it for 4 straight hours. It's not like the Ferris wheel is a crate, but after a while, like 55 hours straight. I know that overnight it stops for a bit, but you're going up and down constantly. Like, are you expecting to get is motion sickness come of this or what?
I don't know. I've been so busy. You know how it is sometimes that you don't pay attention when you're so busy. So I've been so busy with guests, but it moves. Like, this thing clips along. We're shocked how fast it goes, and it's rocking right now back and forth. I don't think long term this can be good for you. Like your equilibrium. What is that word? Equilibrium. See, my equilibrium's already gone. I can't even say equilibrium. But I think that my wife packed me with non-drowsy Gravol. She said, you're going to need it before this is done, because you're going to get, I'll have sea legs I'll have Ferris wheel legs for a few days when I get off. That's for sure.
Chris, once again, the website is albertadreams.ca. Go right there. You can see it. You can make the donation. Even better, come to K-Days today, tomorrow, or Wednesday until 5 o'clock. So that's when you're scheduled to step off the Ferris wheel, 5 o'clock. The weather's supposed to get better every day this week, so that'll be good. What's your plan? Like, you got extra pillows? How are you going to sleep on the Ferris wheel?
I got a pillow I'm sitting on, and I've got Eli, the great producer from Oilers Nation, is got a pillow he's sitting on. I'm going to make sure that those aren't the pillows I should put my head on later on today, because they're going to be a little soggy. But I've got 3 pillows and a sleeping bag, a Cabela sleeping bag that I've used for many different things, and the tarp. And I think, some earplugs, I guess. And this thing, it kind of rocks you. It'll be like, I'll be going back to my childhood where it's literally rocking right now, just like those, you remember those chairs that the kids have, right? So I think it's going to rock it. It's going to rock me to bed.
Yeah, it's like your grandkids right now. So you put them on the little rocker, away you go. So
exactly.
Best of luck, man, with that. And how many? Are you only allowed to eat food from the K-Days?
No. You know what? I have a few sponsors coming, like the Laurent Chateau Lacombe is bringing me a gourmet meal tomorrow night at 6. So that's going to be nice. They're one of our $1,000 sponsors with Nova Hotels. But typically, K-Days is bringing me all their wild and wacky food. So shortly after this, I'll be doing a fundraiser for Don Mazankowski's Heart Clinic, or whatever they call that place.
Are those mini donuts you're eating right now?
That's a mini donut, Jason.
Oh,
the trailer's right beside me. This is like the closest thing. I've never had crack cocaine, but this is the closest thing to it, I'm sure.
Oh God! Like we should have a track of how many tubs of those donuts you're going to eat for the next 50 hours.
There's the first one, my friend.
There's the first one. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll check in with you on Wednesday as you're nearing the goal to see where you're at.
I'd really appreciate that, Jason. I really thank you for doing this. You're a great guy, and I'm choking on my donut now. But you and your listeners are fantastic, so I know they'll step up for us.
Awesome, man. We'll ride safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Lucky I'm not driving. Thanks, buddy.
There you go. That's Chris Scheetz joining us from the Ferris wheel. Man, technology has changed. We got that. We're on video. You can watch the show on Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And he was just live. Man, I'm almost getting dizzy watching him go just round and round. 54 hours straight. And they're raising money for Alberta Dreams. For those of you who knew or heard about the Rainbow Society, they've just changed their name. And it's fantastic what they do to help kids who just have an opportunity with, lots of Albertan kids who are diagnosed with severe chronic or life-threatening medical illnesses. And it allows them to have one of their dreams come true. So any companies out there, anybody who wants to donate, very easy. Go to albertadreams.ca. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Red Deer Resort and Casino. Give your kids a summer to remember. Bears, beds, and belly laughs. Book the Stay Wild package at Red Deer Resort and Casino today.
The Sports 1440 update.
After leading Canada to victory at this year's Four Nation Face-Off, head coach John Cooper is getting the same support staff for the Olympics in Italy. Hockey Canada announcing that Bruce Cassidy, Rick Tocchet, and Pete DeVore will once again serve as assistants on Cooper's staff for the games. In the majors, 15 games late tonight. The Jays kicking off a huge series against the New York Yankees in Toronto. First pitch set for 5:07. You also have the Giants in Atlanta. Rays taking on the White Sox. Athletics in Texas up against the Rangers. Rockies, Cards, Astros in Arizona. Mariners will host the Brewers, and the Twins taking on the Dodgers. Veteran guard Chris Paul has signed a deal with the LA Clippers, returning for his 21st and likely final season. Paul was a member of the Clippers from 2011 to 2017 and was a six-time All-Star in those seasons. And over in the CFL, the Montreal Alouettes placing quarterback Davis Alexander on the 6-game IL after he aggravated his hamstring injury. At the end of their game on Thursday, he led them to a 26-25 comeback win over the Argos late in that game, but suffered the injury when he ran in the game-winning touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk to Bill Schme about the Green Bay Packers and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle. Some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people. You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500.
Magnificent
Every
Monday
single one on the lot is
afternoon.
discounted
How are you?
by a
And
whopping
welcome.
$14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 sports.
Oh,
to
wow.
choose
Hey,
from,
man.
with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all 14,000 off the
Afternoon
ticket price.
sports.
Get down there and see how easy it is to do
40
business
is
at
out there
St. Albert
today.
Dodge.
Whoop, there it is. 4 days of basketball at its best. Hoop City 2025, North America's largest FIBA 3x3 showcase. The top 4 Olympic teams on both men's and women's categories, featuring Canada's women's Olympic team with Edmonton's own Michelle and Catherine Plouffe. More than just hoops. There's entertainment, long-distance shootout, Grand Slam showcase, plus interactive games and prizes for everyone. Hoop City 3x3 Basketball Festival, July 31st to August 3rd. Ice Palace and West Edmonton Mall. Admission is free, so bring the whole family.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart People. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go models. The Golf Cart People stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart People at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Say hi to Declan running the chat over there. So I'm sure he's always putting up polls, different questions. We'll probably get Deckman on later. We're going to talk a little boxing over the weekend. Some interesting outcomes in the ring to discuss that. Also, of course, baseball fans, the Jays in action against the Yankees tonight. Get in on that and more. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Jays actually at home tonight. You got better odds picking them to win than the Yankees. So the Jays have won 10 in a row. They have the best home record in the major leagues. Now, I know Rodon's a good pitcher, but come on. The Jays almost beat everybody. So I kind of like that one. Also, Lotto Max tomorrow, $29 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. So even if you lose, you win at PlayAlberta.ca. We're going to get to the oil report in a second. We've got a few other texts to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, any idea if it's busy at K-Days? Well, I was looking. There was obviously people getting on because Chris was stopping. He was like Kramer right there. You kept making all the stops. Well, they kept ringing the bell. Well, people are still getting on. So, yeah, obviously the weather today, this is the time to go. It stopped raining. This is the best time, and you're going to wheel through. You get to go on way more rides in a shorter period of time. I've always been a big believer. Cons, I don't know about you when you were in the heyday, if you ever going to K-Days. If I was one who usually would go on the days it was a little bit cloudier, it was way better.
Oh, totally. Less lines. You don't want to get the heat stroke or anything like that. water ride would be a little bit of a questionable one for me in that case, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Good on a hot day, maybe not so much the other, but I'm totally with you. Take advantage of it. We're not made of sugar. We can handle a little bit of water.
Oh, yeah, totally. So I'd be all over that. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars. Edmonton, the Discover Day sales event continues on now. You can lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save additional $4,000. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. And today for the oil report, did some digging into the Oilers schedule. And last year, the Oilers, did you know last season, there was only 11 teams in the NHL who won at least half of their games that were the second half of a back-to-back. The Oilers went 7-7. They actually went 6-4 on the road. They're only 1-3 at home. LA, Vegas, Dallas, Colorado, Edmonton, Toronto, the Rangers, Carolina, Ottawa, Florida, and Washington were the other teams to won at least half of their games. Seattle, 0-12 last year. Philly was 1-10-2. But you look at Seattle, like 0-12. That's like amazing to be that bad. But overall, if you combine all the Western teams, they had a winning percentage. Basically, they'd win 40% of their games. The East would win 43%. Now, this season, the Oilers have 13 sets of back-to-back. 2 games at home, 11 are on the road. So, it's not ideal, but that's how it goes when you travel out east. Usually the Oilers like to have, their eastern road trips. They got a 7-gamer that has 2 sets of back-to-back. They got a 5-gamer that starts, got back-to-back. It's kind of normal. You go to LA and Anaheim, you're going to play them back-to-back. Rarely will they have this, rarely do they ever play Saturday, Sunday at home or Friday, Saturday at home. Sometimes they'll have a game where the second half is at home. The problem is they're in Calgary the night before, for instance. So they're taking on Toronto in February at home, and then the next night they go to Calgary. So they're playing back on the road. And the one time early in the year they have, I think they're in Calgary and then they're back home to take on, they're in Seattle for an afternoon game, and then they come home the next night to play a home game. So the other thing for the Oilers, though, that's a big change, something that most of you have never seen. The Edmonton Oilers, for the first time in French, I was looking and went back through every year. They've never not had a game in the Eastern Conference in January, February, March, April, or May in the 2021 season. Never. They've always had it. So even going back to 2015, the Oilers had 12 games in the Eastern time zone between January and April. Then they had 9, 4 in 2018, 9, 10, 13, 12, 9, 8, 11 last year. But this year, none. Their last game in the Eastern time zone is December 18th. And because of that, the Oilers, who usually would have 5 trips out east, one year they actually had 6 in 2024. But usually you have 5 trips to go out east to get those games in. This year it's 3. So the Edmonton Oilers, who last year, here's their kilometers, just so you get an idea, here's the Oilers' kilometers traveled the last 3 years. 83,660 in 23, 81,837 in 24, 80,363, and this season it's 79,470. That's a pretty big drop. Steps to go from 80,000 basically down to 70,000. So why? Mainly because of that one trip. No doubt in my mind, right? So you go from going all the way out east 2 fewer times. That's a big reduction in travel for the Oilers, and to me, that's a good thing. Now, that does mean that they travel more early in the year, right? They go out east. They got a 5-gamer in October, a 7-gamer in November, and they actually have another 5-gamer in December. But for the first 4 in the east, and then they come back through Minnesota for the 5th game. Then they're done. They got to go to the Central time zone. And yes, they got to go to the Pacific time zone, but they're not going 2 hours away. And over the course of the whole year, 10,000 fewer kilometers in travel. It's a big drop. Now, it's all relative in a sense because the Oilers are still the 9th most traveled team in distance in the amongst all NHL teams. So it's just that it's a little bit less. Well, not a little bit. It's quite a bit less. So that's a good problem. But like the New York Islanders, they have the least amount of distance traveled this season. 46,000 kilometers. That's what they're at. 46,600. The most traveled team, the Dallas Stars at 79,747. So that's a pretty significant difference. Now, even the Islanders, they're like 5,000 less than everybody. The next closest is Toronto at 51,000, Detroit 52, Buffalo 52. It's all the Eastern teams. Team in the West, Minnesota has the least amount of travel at 59,000. Pittsburgh has the most travel this year in the East at 69,000. Like the Oilers and Penguins, there's not much of a difference in travel this year between Edmonton and Pittsburgh. Funny enough, the Oilers are at 70,477. Pittsburgh's at 69,883. So really just a difference of like 500 and whatever change. I don't even know what that is. 94, right? 594 kilometers. So not a huge amount of difference. It's like there and back to Calgary. So not a huge difference from Edmonton to Pittsburgh this year. So could that help them later on in the year? I think there's a really good chance it could. We'll see. Now, the other thing that does help the Oilers is we mentioned the back-to-back games. Well, this year, the Oilers, they play back-to-back 13 times, but 16 times, which is tied for 7th most, they play an opponent who will be on the second half of a back-to-back. That's a pretty big advantage. Detroit, Montreal, and Pittsburgh do it 19 times. Boston, LA, and the Islanders do it 17. And then the Oilers, Columbus, Anaheim, and the Rangers are at 16. Teams who have the fewest games, Winnipeg and Colorado 8 times, Dallas and Seattle 9 times, Carolina, Florida, San Jose 10 times. So now when we look at distance traveled, this is one thing that I've talked about. Like nothing's ever going to be even. Obviously, geography, we all know where Edmonton is on a map. It's the northernmost major city in the world, northernmost, obviously, in the NHL. So you're always going to travel more. But why the NHL, when you actually had the opportunity, and we saw it firsthand in 2021, it would be like Edmonton goes on the West Coast. And usually if they go there, they'll play Anaheim once, LA once, San Jose once, Vegas, and then they come home. Why not do one trip that has them go to LA, play LA Monday, Tuesday, if you have to go back to back, and then play Anaheim later on 2 times? Why can't you do it? I get that you can't do it in the East, although you could. And this is my question to you, a fan. You want to see, like they play every team in the East twice, right? Would you be okay if 3 of those times you would play Toronto twice one year in Toronto, and then the next year you would play both games against Toronto and Edmonton? So when Edmonton went out East, there would be 3 sets of games where they would play the same team back-to-back nights. Or, I don't care, it doesn't always have to be back-to-back. It can be Monday, Wednesday. Just like when you're on a road trip, you don't play back-to-back every road game. It's going to reduce travel. It's going to allow fans, media people to write more articles on players because they're in that city for a few days. But mainly, it's going to reduce travel. You know, you're not changing hotels all the time, and it's going to increase a little bit of animosity. So let's say the first game ends 3-2, 4-3, whatever. It's an entertaining game. But maybe there's a big hit or there's a fight. And now there's a little extra hype, and then you play them again 2 days later. Now, I know Gregor, that works against the exciting teams, but I don't want to see the boring teams twice in a row. Okay, well, how many boring teams are there? Like, Chicago's bad, but are they boring? No, they give up a lot of goals. They're not boring. San Jose's not boring. Like, how many teams play a real boring style in today's game? Not many. Like, we don't have the Jacques Lemaire Minnesota Wild. I think it's an opportunity for the NHL. You should have at least 4 sets of games where you're playing in the same city 2 times. Easy. Baseball does it the whole time. Can't tell me you can't do it. Right? You could strategically do it. What if, certain time in your schedule, it's easy. You can do it. Teams, they know we got this many home games, your homestand for 5 games. Well, what if in that 5-game homestand you play 4 teams because you play one team twice? 833-401-1440. Let me know. Yay or nay if you're opposed to it. Cons, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with it at all. Like you said, I mean, two games in one city one year, then you can switch it up the next year, reduce travel for everyone. I'm sure the Oilers season ticket holders that sell their tickets to Leafs fans would love it. You double that profit, but I think it'd be good. And the big one for me is what you said, animosity. The travel, as a fan, doesn't really bother me. It's them. They're going to be doing it. It's not me. But when I see those two teams, maybe just a little bit of rivalry, especially, when you got players in your team, maybe throw late, hit, something of that nature, gets it going. And then even if it is Chicago, Gregor, and they're in town twice, that's 2 nights of Connor Bedard. Enjoy a young player in this league and build it up that way. So I can't see a downside to it. I think it's something that the NHL could quite easily do. And I couldn't have any idea that a player might disagree with it. I mean, they're going to like it. Talking about travel, saving that sort of thing, I'm sure they'd be fine with it as well. So yeah, can't find any downside to it.
Yeah, honestly, from a player perspective, now not a lot of guys, but some guys, all of a sudden you fly in. If Edmonton's home for you, usually you fly in. Sometimes you're playing Calgary the night before. You never even get to spend time with your parents while you're in town. This way, you get an extra night. Now I know not everybody's going to have that, but who cares if it's few guys on a few teams, a few times a year? Because usually, if let's say now Bob's in town for 2 games, right? Or Connor, whatever, he goes back to Toronto, maybe invites a few of his buddies over to his parents' house. The parents host him dinner. Teams have done that. I know families who will invite their team over when they have a few days. Right? They get a home cooked meal. Team loves it. It's bonding. Who doesn't like home cooked meal? You don't always want to eat out in the restaurant. It's great. I look at it and I see no negative. None whatsoever. Hey, Gregor, great number crunch. You're not surprised that's what you excel in. Do you know, have the Oilers ever been close to this and traveled? Well, I was only looking at the last 5 years, and considering that they were all in the upper 8, in the low 80s or high 70s, I've never seen it this low, to be honest. Now, obviously, 2021, you had fewer games. It was only in Canada. Yes, that would be one. But, in a normal season, no. If you go back in the 80s, the Oilers played way more games out east. They traveled even, and they weren't even flying first class. Right? You were flying coach, and you weren't even on a charter. You were just with everybody else. You're waiting in line. You're waiting for the connector flights. It was a totally different world. So no, it's never been like this for Edmonton. So, guys, I think it'd be fine to build rivalries, better than back-to-back in a different city. 100% from Cat Dag. Hey, Gregor, I completely disagree with back-to-back. Yeah, but you didn't bring a point is why you disagree. So that does nothing. Add something, Mill Creek Dog Walker. What do you disagree with? Why? Hey, Gregor, if the NHL is going to run with back-to-back against the same teams, it needs to be in division. Here's a kicker. If a team wins both games, they get a bonus point in the standings. They'll provide more interest in every second game. Hacksaw. Well, now Hacksaw, now you're jumping the shark. I don't need fake things to add to it. Every game's right now we already have some games that are worth 3 points and some games that are worth 2 points. I don't think we need to add to that at all. So I wouldn't go for that at all. We don't need fake things. Just, hey, here's sometimes the back-to-back games. They're not all going to be great. I can't sit there and tell you that every game is going to be great, but guess what? You can have a homestand of 5 games and you can play Anaheim on a Wednesday and San Jose on a Friday, and they can both be duds. It doesn't have to be because it's the same team. It's just going to happen. But I don't want, for me, I would not fake it at all. Hey, Gregor, as a season ticket holder, I don't like it. I have to travel 2.5 to get to a game and be very disappointed if I didn't get to see the Eastern teams once a year. I know the counter to that is, well, the next year I'd get to see them twice in a row. But I paid pretty good dollar. I'd like to see the top teams yearly. Road record. Well, so do you go to every game, road record? It's a fair point. Right? You go to every game, sure. But one year you might get to see some of the better teams more often. So, and now the Eastern team to me is the one that's probably the last part of it. I don't need that one. If they still want to go one home, one away, which they probably would, fine. But you can have the option then to be in your own conference, which is probably even better. Now, all the back-to-back games against the same team will be either against the Central or the Pacific. I have no problem with that. Easily could agree with that. No issue. And you rotate it, right? Against the Central, one year you play 4 teams twice in Edmonton, and the other 4 you play twice in their market. So you would just rotate that around. Wouldn't be difficult. And you could do it pretty easily. So one year you might get 2 games that you play Minnesota. They just play them twice in 3 days or twice in 2 days. I'd love it, actually. No problem. Hey, Gregor, last year I went to see the Oilers in Seattle. That's a boring team. Everything about them, including the fans, is boring. Chris and Victoria. You know what? They don't really have like a dynamic player. You're right. But when the Oilers play Seattle, usually the games are fairly high scoring, aren't they? Now, is the building quiet in Seattle? That's interesting because they might have the loudest NFL stadium, but is built for loud. The crowd's into it. They go crazy. It's a gong show. That arena in Seattle looks unreal, but you're right. They probably have a boring team. They don't have a lot to really get excited about that team right now. Right? They got a lot of older guys that are just trying to age out there. So we'll see. So basically, Gregor, you're saying like mini-series, 2 games? Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, again, not the whole schedule. I understand that. That would be a little too challenging for availability. Plus, you only play the Eastern teams once at home all year, so you probably couldn't do it then. Unless they wanted to really change things and go with, every second year you play a few teams. But that would probably be too complicated. So let's just simplify it and stick within your conference 4 times a year. You're going to play. So maybe it's 1 year you play 2 Pacific teams back-to-back and 2 Central teams back-to-back. Easy. Now, you're not changing the number of games you play against them. It's just when you play them. Hey, Gregor, what if you meet a team that's injured? Well, yeah. Well, why does that matter? What if you meet a team that's injured and you only play them once or twice, or they meet you when you're injured? Like that's just the luck of the schedule. You can't control that. It's like, what if Connor Halley gets a 5-game suspension and he's the opposition's best player, but it happened against you, and he wasn't suspended in that game, wasn't even kicked out of the game, but he got a suspension afterwards, and now your arch rivals face him the next 5 games. That's just how it is. Like there's no, I don't need even on everything. Travel isn't even. Back-to-back games aren't even. The schedule isn't even some years because some divisions are a little bit harder than others. Right? There's lots of factors that go into it. So I don't need a perfect even scenario because it's impossible to get perfect. I just look at it and say, you know what? When they had it in 2021, I loved it when they play the same team in multiple nights in a row. I loved it. There was a few times, Cons, they played the same team 3 in a row. Oh. Now, remember that one against Toronto? God, the Oilers were terrible. They lost all 3. I think they scored like 2 goals in 3 games. That was brutal. Oilers fans were hating that. The only good thing about it is there's no fans in the building. We got lots more text to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I think Seattle gave up on sports after Marshawn Lynch didn't get the ball from Spaghetti. God, that was a painful decision. Painful decision. We'll return, and we'll talk more hockey. We're also going to talk a little football on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Brab and 118th.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$327. Oh man, sometimes timing, you can't ask for better timing. As a big announcement on a new deal in the NFL, and hey, it's the city we're talking about. So that is good news. Welcome back, everyone, to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ride Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. As we continue on our NFL preview, and we're going to stop in today to Green Bay, where, of course, the Green Bay Packers had a pretty good year last year, 11-6 in the regular season. Obviously, didn't get the playoff success that they wanted, but overall, not a bad year. And how are things shaping up in Green Bay? One of the greatest places to ever go watch a game, by the way, at Lambeau Field. We're talking to Packers post-game host Bill Schme joins us. Bill, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, as always, Jason. And yeah, no doubt about it. Good news for us Packers cheeseheads here in Wisconsin just before we hop on here with a nice fat extension for a young offensive lineman, which is always my favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah, well, right tackle Zach Tom, a 4-year contract extension at $88 million is the number people are suggesting. And offensive linemen, you never get talked about when they do good. It only seems when they do bad. But, man, they're vital if you want to do good.
Yeah, and especially if you want to keep your $55 million quarterback upright, which was one of the biggest issues for the Packers a year ago, was the health of Jordan Love. And on a year in which there's going to be a lot made of the final judgments of Jordan Love. Now, granted, he's 3 years into his starting career and year 2 into a fat 4-year extension. So, those judgments won't necessarily happen in-house, but I think publicly, and the public perception will be, this team's only going to go as far as Jordan Love goes. And as it went in 2024, JC was never the same after that injury in Brazil in week 1, kind of rushed back maybe a little bit too early for the Minnesota game in week 4 and was playing catch up from then. I also believe it started back last year when he was 8 days into training camp before he played for the first time during the year because he was waiting on that extension. Hopefully everybody gets their money tonight by Wednesday when we're live here at day 1 of practice. All the money has been doled out because it's not my money, and I feel a lot better about it.
Yeah. Looking at their offense, Jaden Reed from, a long ways away, I look and say, well, this guy should be their number one guy. His targets and everything kind of just fell off a cliff in the second half of the season last year, Bill. Why is that? What's going on there? Is it him? Is it the play calling? What should he not be the main target guy there?
He should, and I think this year you'll see a little bit more of it that way, Jason. Man, he hit a wild wall a year ago. Like there was the Detroit game. What was it? Maybe week 14, the Thursday night game. He's from Michigan, and he was talking smack to Amon-Ra St. Brown on their podcast. Like, y'all don't even know what I got cooked up for you. And they're like, yeah, we do. You had no catches. Legit no catches. And I think he maybe touched the ball one time on a carry and lost yards. So it was about as bad as you could be at that spot. And down the stretch, he was feeling like non-existent. I think there's some of the play calling, like you mentioned, of putting him in the best positions. He's been a dude that almost exclusively lines up in the slot. And in college, he was almost best on the outside. They've used him as their jet sweep gadget guy, and there's a play that is still ringing in the minds of Packers fans in the game in week 18. And lost to the Bears in 5 years. Matt LaFleur never lost to the Chicago Bears until game at Lambeau Field, which was rather meaningless in totality last year, where they win on a game-winning field goal. Jaden Reed had like a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, where they ran an end around and he lost 4 yards. And there were a lot of drops in that spot, a lot in the entire wide receiver room, but definitely Evan. And I think that's why they didn't phase him out, but I think Jordan Love was very juiced as to when he was throwing 11 the ball. And for them to be good this year, and it could be, and let's be honest, probably should be, Jason, he's going to have to probably be that number one guy that you mentioned.
Expectations can sometimes be unrealistic, but you don't have like a bona fide, clear number one receiver. So a lot of people are going to say, hey, Matthew Golden, he's going to be the golden boy for us. How good can he be? What's your expectations for him this season?
The expectations here are sky's the limit. If you remember on draft night, Mark Murphy, that was his last real act as the president of the Packers. He's going to get retired on Friday at their shareholders meeting because the age of 70, he's cut off. He can't be the president of operations anymore. So they're bringing in policy, Carmen policy, son who worked with the 49ers for a long time. They had not drafted a first-round wide receiver in Murphy's tenure. They have only done it maybe once or twice in my lifetime, 20-some years. So people here are to the moon with Matthew Golden saying, like, why can't he be Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson and be the best wide receiver in 2 years? It's going to take a little bit of time, but the expectations are that he is a focal point in the offense this year. And Jason, some of it is because necessity. Their offense was so stagnant last year once Christian Watson went down with that torn ACL injury, and the field stretcher that he was, they never found it again. So Golden's going to get opportunity right away, but tempering expectations is not something anybody here in the land of the cheese excited about the Longhorn.
Bill, looking at the tight end position, and very quietly, Tucker Kraft had a pretty decent season last year. Do you expect him, if they get a deep guy, is that going to open up even more kind of, mid-tier, patterns for him? Do you expect Kraft to have a big year, or is he just going to kind of be like, like above average, but not great tight end?
I think he becomes one of the top 10 fantasy tight ends in football this year. Like, I think he's got top 10 potential at that spot production wise. And like, he's not going to get the touches that a Trey McBride does. Right. And he's not probably the blocker that he feels like he's in that next mode where he's a George Kittle style guy. He can run good routes. He's not a route technician, and you're not going to have Ocho Cinco crying like he was when he was watching Devontae Adams run routes. But I think Tucker Kraft is dangerous with the ball in his hand. They've talked about it a lot during the mini camp time, that for them to be a good offense, need to take another step. And one of the reasons why you saw guys like Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs at times kind of get phased out was there were moments where Kraft was their number one playmaking.
Yeah, I think we'll just try to get him back here. So having some technical difficulties, get a little bit clearer of a signal there. So Tucker Kraft is a name, and I watched his numbers last year. He's a name, obviously for those of you who play fantasy football, and there's more and more all the time, and you quite like it. The tight end position is one where, if you can get one of the good tight ends, it's great, but then there can be a pretty significant drop off. And Tucker Kraft is one guy. And I would agree with Bill, and we got him back here, that I think Kraft is definitely a guy who could be top 10. And I was just wondering if Bill, maybe like, what do you think it would take for Kraft to maybe push to be like top 7 or even top 5 as a tight end?
I think, Jason, the biggest thing, and I apologize for that, I think the number one deal is his usage and the amount of times that he gets the football. It's going to be a much more heavily influenced offense with him. But it's funny. Tucker Kraft came in as a third-round pick. They actually took Luke Musgrave the round before him, and the idea was Musgrave is going to be the pass catcher, and Kraft will be the dirty work, inline blocking tight end, and maybe capitalize on some touches. But his playmaking ability was showcased a year ago. He is due for a big leap, and he's one of the guys that I've told folks always ask me, what wide receiver can I take for the Packers? What wide receiver can I take for the Packers? If you don't have Trey McBride, if you don't have, a couple of years ago, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews and company, I think he's in that ilk where you're not streaming a wide receiver if he's on your fantasy team. You're going to be putting him in every single week and banking on the fact that he's going to be a touchdown and red zone target. He became that last year for Love later into the year, and I assume he's going to be one of the main red zone targets for the Packers here in 25.
Bill, quickly moving over to the defensive side of the ball. Their defense was pretty good. Their offense was their defense was, I thought, fairly solid. What do you make of the defense? Any changes that you're going to be watching? Any battles in training camp that pique your interest?
The big battle is definitely on the in the corner room, but it doesn't necessarily feel like much of a battle. To be honest with you, Jair Alexander exits. That was not surprising. However, it lasted long enough where it felt like maybe it was surprising that he wasn't back. Listen, he played, I think, 18 games in the last 2 years combined. That's just simply not going to cut it. When he's been on the field, he's been fantastic. But he just was not available enough for what they were paying him. And the league agreed with that when he got $4 million for 1 year with Baltimore. They got guys out there. Nate Hobbs they bring in from Vegas. He was more of an inside guy. They're playing him more outside. Carrington Valentine, year 3, big year for a former 7th-round pick. But he looked good his rookie year. Maybe took a little step back last year, but just wasn't on the field as much. On defense, their biggest question, Jason, is going to be, can they get after the passer? Listen, they lost TJ Slayton in free agency. He was a 350-pound behemoth in the middle of the line, and he was a good run stuffer. They lose him in free agency. I think they have bodies to replace up front, but they need to get after the quarterback. It's been one of the biggest issues in recent memory for the Packers is their consistency at the pass rushing spot. Their run defense has been really average for the last, decade plus. And last year, I think they were a top 10 unit late into the year. They were one of the better run stopping teams. And they contained Saquon Barkley probably better than anybody else did in the playoffs. It's a team that was in a 1-score game in the fourth quarter with the eventual Super Bowl champions. Like, it's difficult to say a team that went 1-5 in the division is right there. But when you look at the pieces of a young, improving defense that topped out in the top 10 a year ago, a quarterback that, 19 odd starts ago, people thought was in the next running to be a top 10, maybe potential top 7-5 guy in the league. I think they're closer than it feels just because of how it ended a year ago and just how good, Jason, the division was. I think that's maybe the biggest loss in the league or in the NFC North is just how different I think all four teams will look here in 25 than they were in 24, where they were unequivocally the best regular season division in the league.
Yeah, they did. Well, you're right about the regular season for sure. Well, Bill, we look forward to it, and we'll be watching some of those battles and a few guys for fantasy footballers to look for in Kraft, and then the Golden Boy maybe as the wide receiver rookie in Matthew Golden. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. That
is Bill Schme joining us from Green Bay. And the Packers, like Jaden Reed is probably the one he should be their go-to receiver, Connor Halley. I don't know if they don't like him, and maybe part of it's on him for sure to not be consistent. But man, I thought he would have put up much better numbers than he has.
Yeah, and I kind of joked for the last few years here with the Green Bay Packers. Like, if you want a player in fantasy, you can take a guy and you can select him from the Green Bay Packers. But he might have one good game every 2 or 3 games because they just had a lot of good players. Like Dontavian Wicks would go off every once in a while. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, who I had, Jaden Reed, as you mentioned. Now you throw Matthew Golden into the mix. Like, I think he's going to be a very good player. And week to week, I just don't know who it's going to be. It's a good thing for a football team, but then you throw the word fantasy in front of it, and it's not quite as good. Like, I don't know if there's a safe pick for the Green Bay Packers. Tight end might be the one spot, running back for sure. But when it comes to that wide receiver room, I mean, pick your poison. Every week it could be a different guy, in my opinion.
Quick break. When we return, we got a lot of text line in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll also get to the 2-minute warning and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17. It combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical, lighting, and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
It's Mandy from Jack's Drive-In, inviting you to pop in for some Alberta Stone and Grown O'Donnell Farm corn fritters. Jack's corn fritters come in regular or jalapeno, served piping hot, covered with jam or gravy, or you can poutine them up. Tempt your taste buds right now at jacksdrivein.ca.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
A little Billy Ocean Monday afternoon. I haven't looked outside lately if it stopped raining yet or not, but I've had a few rainy days. It's all right. Starting to get a little dry there, so we'll take it. But now we can get some sun again. That would be good. We got a lot of texts flying in. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. In our email inbox, you can text us. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Gregor, I'm going to Toronto. Do you recommend anywhere to sit at the game? Frank, it's a really good question. You know what's funny? Actually, no joke. I called Ken Reed this weekend because I'm going, and I haven't been to for a game in Toronto. I can't even remember last time I went. Like 20 years ago, I think, for sure, at least, if not longer. And so, he recommended it depends what you want. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive. It's kind of you get what you pay for. If you want to sit down the third baseline, it's a little bit more shade, depending if you're going what time of the day you're going, but there'll be more shade on the third base side. Obviously, sitting right behind home plate is an unbelievable vantage point. It's a little bit pricier. I said, do you have general seats? It's $20 to sit in the general seating area. And those seats, he recommended you can be kind of right behind the visiting team's dugout, I guess, is a great place. You get in there early when the gates open, get to sit in, you'll watch the final few minutes of batting practice. And then a lot of people sit there because I guess, for kids, you can sit in that area and you get to interact with the opposing teams in the dugout, and sometimes kids will get a ball. So I guess it depends what you're going for. So right now, though, doesn't look like there's a bad seat in the house. Everybody's fired up to be at the Jays game as they are rolling. I tell you, rolling.
Upper deck behind home plate, Gregor. Great view, very steep stairs.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite the incline. So if you're someone who doesn't like that, maybe you want to venture away from it.
Now, now you can't get a ball there, right? Because Basically, you got the high meshing right
Yeah, it'd
behind.
have to be a moonshot foul ball to get to you there.
Okay.
But cheap.
Cheap, eh?
We got ours a day of for like, I want to say it was $11.
When was that?
4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
It might be tougher right now.
Yeah, like right now, like the Jays sold out. Now, it was the first weekend after the All-Star break. And maybe it's then, but those games all sold out. Although I bought my tickets for late August when we're going. And man, there was tons of seats.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that there's probably a lot of people that are like final week, right? They're not planning 5 weeks ahead, I wouldn't think. So obviously there's not that many season ticket holders at the games, considering how many seats were empty. I'm guessing they're not. So if it depends when you're going, but I would look and go. And as it gets closer to the playoffs, it's going to be hard to get a seat. That's just a fact, right? You think about how many millions of people. Toronto is a massive city. So you only have 40,000 seats now. Just under, I think it's 39,000 is a sellout. So you will have, you might be a little bit tougher to go, but it'd be worth it. So now when you went, Cons, did you just go to one game or did you go to 2 in a row? Some people tell me if you're going to go, you should probably go to 2 in case one's a dud.
Yeah, we went to 2. First game was great. Romero got the win. They bring them out their closers like it's WWE. Second game, a bit of a dud. And we left early because it was game 1 of the Oilers-Kings playoffs. But we went to 2 games. Highly recommend it. Go get a beer, get a hot dog, sit in the crowd. It's awesome. And you got to do the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes. Well, now it's supposed even more interactive too. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to go to Niagara Falls. Never been there.
That'd be cool too.
So going to take the trek. I was Google mapping it to see how far it is. It's farther than I thought, but probably worth the trek. If you go to Niagara Falls, anybody out there, what do you recommend? As a Niagara Falls rookie, what's the go-to, what's the must thing that I need to do? So yeah. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got a lot of more texts coming in on, hey guys, I went to Seattle too. I can't believe how boring it was. And the Oilers spanked them. One of the rare times my team won, but I felt it was a boring game. Yeah, well, right now, Seattle, just the atmosphere it's not great. Hey guys, the arena is spectacular. Escalators everywhere, very modern. The fans are quiet though. They don't know the game. I have friends there. They all want his basketball back. I don't know if the team will last. It's if it stays this terrible with basketball coming back. Now, the rumor is that the ownership group who owns the Kraken would own the basketball team. So I'm sure they'll do all the studies and look and say, hey, can you attract? I think there's a different fan base. There are some who like it for sure, but it's definitely different. And I look at Seattle. If I had to pick today, like if we were going to go in chronological order, and I'm going to use realistic teams here, right? Because obviously Edmonton, Florida, I don't see them suddenly tanking out. So if I look at teams from the bottom up, Seattle was what? 6th worst in the NHL last year. Went San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Philly, Boston, Seattle. Right now, I know the Islanders moved all the way up from 10, and then Utah also moved up. Good for them. So anybody can do it. But if I'm going in order of a team who needs Gavin McKenna, the number 1 team, Connor Halley, is Seattle for me. No question in my mind. They got nothing. Like Shane Wright, okay. Beniers, okay. But like they're not Celebrini. They're not Bedard. I have Seattle at 1, and then I have Nashville at 2. As the 2 markets who now Nashville's probably a stronger market, so that's why I would even have them 2. But Seattle, man, I think they're number 1. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to say Buffalo. Sorry, Buffalo fans. You missed the playoffs for 14 years. I know that stinks. But and maybe ownership, even if you get Gavin McKenna, you'll screw it up. But I'm going to go Seattle, Buffalo, Nashville as my 3 teams who would benefit the most from getting him. What about you?
I mean, if it's Buffalo, I'm pulling a Lindros. Like, nope, don't want to go there. I don't think he would do that. But what reason have they given you to think there's any competence that could get them going in the right direction? I agree with Seattle. Like, I think that would be a big one, a newer franchise. I mean, they had kind of that fun of the first few years when they might have been new in town and people want to get out to a game, but now you got to win. Like this is the time for them to do it, and they don't have any of those exciting players that you go to watch play. Like you said, Celebrini, he's shown it in year one. He's fun to watch. They've got some other guys there as well. Will Smith, another one who's a good player. But yeah, Seattle would be one, and I'm trying to think if there's any others, but that's the one that comes to mind, and for sure would be a good spot for them.
Yeah, they got nothing going for them, man. Like they don't have a lot of, they got a few young and up and coming players, but like Gavin McKenna is like, he's a franchise. I think he can really help your friend. I'm not going to say he's going to be the G word because I don't like to use that word on players, but I think Gavin McKenna is going to have a huge ability to impact your organization in an incredibly positive fashion.
I might have been gone. Did you like his decision to go to Penn?
Not really. I don't, because I look at him like, so what is the benefit of going to Penn State instead of playing in the Western League? Like, yeah, okay, so he's going to make more money, right? He's going to make $750K. But here's the thing. Gavin McKenna, in his career, by the time his career is over, do you think that $750K is even going to matter?
No,
it won't. Right? Like by the time he signs his second deal, he'll probably be signing that deal if he's even, decent above let's just say, he has one, really spectacular year and scores 85 points, which would be great. And the other years, and he's trending in the right direction after 3 years, Connor Halley, he's going to be signing for 13 or 14 million right off the hop for a 5-year deal minimum, right? Maybe longer. Depends what he wants to do. I've always said this. If I'm an agent of an elite player, I'm not signing for more than 5 years. Only because it gives me the opportunity to keep maximizing my time and have a competitive team. I have no problem with it. But so I don't think the 750 matters. So he's going to go to Penn State. He's going to play fewer games, right? The competition will be slightly better. Not, oh my God, I'm going to learn so much about myself as a player better, but slightly better. And that's it. So I don't see it being, I don't think it's a negative one, but I don't see it being that big of a positive for me. I would have rather played in the Western League. Now, is it going to be easier on him? Yes. You're not bussing, right? You're not bussing through the night. So there's that. But from a hockey playing perspective, I'm not sure that Penn State is so much better in competition than the Western League. That it's like, oh my God, he is going to improve dramatically. Seems like it's a little bit about the money, and that's okay. But in a few years, that money's going to be irrelevant from how much he has. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what he's taking education-wise and how devoted he will be.
Dude, it's 1 year.
It's 1 year.
He's taking it like Jonathan Taze told us that some of his classes were coaching.
Take the radio program. Yeah, you know what? I guess in the sense that more time to get stronger physically, a little bit higher level competition. Obviously, we know Penn State's program is fantastic. Like, they're going to take care of him. That is a positive to me. I would still, like you said, like I'd love to see him playing more games and maybe getting more to that NHL lifestyle of the traveling. But maybe part of it is just lifestyle. I mean, maybe he wants to have that college lifestyle. I mean, going to Penn State football games would be a lot of fun. Basketball, you're only playing on the weekends, living on the campus. I think there's positives to it. I don't know if I would have made that jump the way he did, but I think it's going to be fun to watch what he's able to do against a little bit tougher competition.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about that. I don't think the competition's that much tougher, to be honest. Like, slightly, but how much better? Yeah, but older, whatever. I don't know if that even makes it better. Like, I got to look at their schedule. Who are they playing, right? How many of his games are going to be against that much better opponents, right? Overall, because you got to remember, he's playing basically about half the amount of games.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, the WHL has some weaker teams. So does college. So how many games is he really going to be playing against elevated talent? I don't know. Like, good for him that he's doing it, and I don't think ultimately it's going to change much. But when you look at getting yourself used to just the wear and tear of the NHL, which I think is very important, going back to fewer games, I'm not sure that's the best path. But we'll see. We shall see. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. Furnace repair, maintenance, AC fixed. They'll do it all. Legacyheating.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
After leading Canada to victory at this year's Four Nations Face-Off, head coach John Cooper bringing back the same support staff to Italy. Hockey Canada announcing today that Bruce Cassidy of the Golden Knights are talking to the Flyers, and former Stars coach Pete DeVore will once again serve as assistant on Cooper's staff for the 2026 games in Italy. Over in the majors, 15 games tonight. The Jays kicking off a homestand against the New York Yankees. First pitch set for 5:07. You also have the Orioles in Cleveland, Pirates taking on the Tigers, Padres, Marlins, Angels in New York taking on the Mets. The Diamondbacks will host the Astros, Mariners hosting the Brewers, and the Twins in LA taking on the Dodgers. Veteran guard Chris Paul signing a deal to return to the LA Clippers for his 21st and likely final season in the NBA. Paul was in Los Angeles from 2011 to 2017, where he was a six-time All-Star. And in the CFL, the Alouettes placing quarterback Davis Alexander on the six-game IL after he aggravated his hamstring injury in their win on Thursday over the Argos. Coming up in hour number 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some combat sports with our very own Declan Kruger. We'll look around the NHL with Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor, welcome back, Jason. Man, sometimes timing 401
one deal is his
Monday afternoon. So how many games?
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendinitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in. And hey, if you're always looking for the odds boost on game days, the Jays and the Yankees, a little odds boost of 10 total runs. Oof, that would be a big one. We'll see. But the Jays, pretty good odds for them tonight. Taking on the Yankees. So get in at PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor. 51st pitch will be at 5:07 tonight. See, they actually, when they post their first pitch, that's when you know the first pitch is. It's one thing I love about MLB. Got a few more texts to get to. Lots of you on things to do at Niagara Falls. I like it. Made of the Mist seems pretty popular. The power plant tour. It sounds like there's some sick go-karts. I love go-karts, man. Hey, Gregor, Wax Museum, really cool. Really? I've only ever been to one Wax Museum. Now, I don't know, maybe at the time of my life, but I was like, I didn't find it that riveting. But maybe that's just because you have one bad experience doesn't mean you have to just say it that way forever. So we'll see. But thanks for that, because, I'm going to check out Niagara Falls later on. Many of you saying you got to do the tour on the lake. Yeah. Oh, I would think so. Awesome. The Made of the Mist goes right, gets right under the falls even. Woo, I like it. Now I'm assuming you got to bring, they must supply a rain jacket there, right? So there you go. I don't have to carry one myself. That wouldn't be ideal, I don't think. A few more, and then we're going to get Declan Kruger on with us. Hey, Greg's interesting stuff about the Oilers' schedule. I'd never known that they'd never finished the season this early in the East. Do you know, do the Oilers ask for that, or is it a negotiation? Good question, Mike. I actually, this year, the Oilers, Jeff Jackson, when they were making the schedule, he was actually in New York visiting with them. So that there are some requests you can have. I know certain teams will ask, hey, we'd like a road trip early in the season. Like I know Washington for years. How many times were they in Edmonton in October? Quite frequently, right? That's happened many times. It doesn't happen all the time, but for years they had. Philadelphia used to be one that they liked it over, right after the holidays. They like to be on a road trip. So some teams have different requests at different times. Doesn't mean you always get it, but that's what they do. The Oilers, I don't know. I'd have to ask if they ask specifically to get their Eastern trip out of the way as quick as possible, because it's never even been close to this. The Oilers are done all 16 of their Eastern time zone games on December 18th. It's massive for them. Now, that means they're going out there 3 times in the first 3 months. They go in October for a 5-gamer, then they go in November for a 7-gamer, and then they're back in December for another, 7-gamer in November, then a 5-gamer in December. The last 5 games is 4 against the East and 1 against Minnesota on the way home. So the one thing that's led to is a significant reduction in the Oilers' distance traveled. The last 3 years, they were at 80,000 plus in kilometers. This year, 70,477. So that's a pretty big drop in total distance traveled for your team. Just less time in the plane, less time traveling, all those things. So when they go out east, 5 games, 1 shot, 7 games, 1 shot, 4 games, 1 shot, done. It only took them 3 trips. Usually it's taken 5. And in fact, in 2024, they had 6 trips to the Eastern time zone to get all their games in. So that I think is a huge benefactor, and probably is something that could help them later on in the year. So we'll see. Now let's bring in Declan Kruger, because we're going to talk a little MMA and boxing as he slides into the chair. Deck, I know. Let's first of all get to your thoughts on the Poirier fight in martial arts.
Yeah, Dustin Poirier, one of the best to never win a title, one of the guys who always brought it, electric fighter, very fun style, was probably never going to be a guy who was going to win a championship. His skill set just wasn't there, but the epitome of a guy who worked hard, wasn't the most talented, but worked hard, got there on the back of that, was in a lot of fun fights, fan-friendly style, loved by a lot of people. And his career ended, I think, about as well as it could have. Like, obviously, you want to win in your hometown or home state, I should say, but he fought a guy who was going to bring the fight to him. He fought a guy who was a legend in his own right. He fought a guy who was going to stand in the center of the octagon and trade with him, and that was very much reminiscent of Dustin Poirier's career, and it's what we got in his final fight.
You think for sure he's done?
Yes, I think so. Because I think with Dustin Poirier, like at his best of best, he could beat elite fighters, but he couldn't beat championship level fighters. And now those championship level fighters were Khabib Nurmagomedov, Charles Oliveira when he was on an incredible run, Islam Makhachev, who's probably already the best lightweight ever, and Islam was when he was past his prime. But he couldn't beat those championship level fighters when he was at his best of best. He's not that anymore. And I don't see him continually beating elite competition. I don't see him getting, like, he's 0-3 in UFC title fights. That's pretty rarefied air. There aren't a lot of guys who get 3 opportunities and lose all 3. He's in a class with just a couple other guys in that sense. So, no, I think he's done. He's made a lot of money. He made a lot of money off the 2 Connor fights, those back-to-back pay-per-views in 2021. He is a legend in his own right, and it's a sport you have to quit the sport before it quits you. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to retire before the sport retires you, because it's thankless, it's gutless. And I just think he's got a family, he's got another kid on the way, doesn't want to do it anymore. He probably realizes his career went about as well as it could for his skill set, like I said. So he's happy to move on, and I'm happy for him.
Now, what about the Manny Pacquiao fight? Mm-hmm. You know, people thought he had made history. Everybody online, fighters, everybody, analysts were saying they had it. Now, maybe that's just a bias or an emotional one, but the judges, they viewed it as it had it was ended in a majority draw, right? Yep. So 2 judges scored at 114, and the other judge actually had it in favor of Barrios, 115-113. So incredibly close fight. What did you make of it? And are you surprised of Pacquiao making the cut? Like, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Like, boxers always seem to make comebacks.
They do always seem to make comebacks. 46 is pretty old. It's a little bit, and it's really old for a lower weight class like that. Like, we saw George Foreman, he won the heavyweight title at 45 or 46. Bernard Hopkins won the light heavyweight title at 49. So it does happen, but it's a little bit more traditional in those larger weight classes. Like, to do it, like those smaller weight classes, and this one was welterweight, which is 147 pounds for anyone who doesn't know. Like, it's fast twitch, it's quick, a lot of movement, and it's something that, like, you like those movements, that fast twitch muscle fiber, you just don't have it as a 46-year-old, quite frankly. Like, it's a young man's sport, and that is a young man's division. So to come back and be that close at 46 is really, really impressive, especially against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. His last fight was against a Cuban Olympian named Yordenis Ugas, who beat him and sent Manny into retirement. Barrios had beaten the brakes off Yordenis Ugas to win the WBA title. And so Manny comes back and has a very, very competitive fight against the guy who beat him, or something. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So to do it at 46 and to still, like, he looked really, I thought he won the fight, by the way. He looked really speedy. He looked like his timing was on point, because that's another thing. As you get older, your timing really goes. Like, the timing that you have as a 25-year-old, 28-year-old, 30-year-old even, it's just not there as you get older. You just lose that touch. And he still seemed to have it. And Barrios hasn't been overly impressive. Like, he was given a layup fight against Ramos his last time out before this, and that one only ended in a draw. He got knocked down in that fight. Like, he hasn't been, the 2 best fighters he's fought outside of Ugas were Gervonta Davis and Keith Thurman, and he lost to both of them. Like, I don't really view him as an elite level fighter, but he's still a world champion. He's still a 2-way world champion, credit to him. So Manny came in, fought valiantly. I thought he should have got the decision, and then I don't know, the thing is, I don't know where he goes from here, because this was the most beatable guy at 147. I'm sure Barrios would be happy to welcome another fight with Manny just for the financial incentive, but I'm not sure if that's a direction, the promotion would want to go, that Manny wants to go. Like, if he wins this, all of a sudden the world's your oyster. But now, coming off a draw, like, If he goes out there and knocks him out in the third round or something, we're talking about like, oh my goodness, Manny Pacquiao's back. Can you believe this? Like, what are we seeing another Floyd fight? Things like that. With the result now, like I'm sure there's still some appetite for it, but it's just there's so many more question marks around it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now also you had, of course, Alexander Usyk knocked out Dubois in round 5. He's the first men's boxer to become an undisputed champion for a third time. He had reigns at cruiserweight in 18 and heavyweight in 2024. Now, undisputed means he owns all the belts.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Correct.
Which thankfully that should happen. Like, I hope they never split the belts anymore. Is the worst thing in boxing for a long time, in my own opinion on it. It's like, well, you got this guy the champ, and then they never fight each other. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? But like Usyk is, he's 24-0. He's got 15 KOs. Now, in North America, I think there's people listening. They're like, who? Because heavyweights in North America right now, outside of Mexico, it's not where it used to be, right? Like there's no Holyfield, there's no Tyson, people, even Lennox Lewis. It's not talked about as much in North America, well, specifically US and Canada, but it is globally. There's no question. So when you look at Usyk and early on, who would you like to see him fight? Does he have anybody else who can push him?
Yeah, well, first of all, just to touch on like the popularity thing, they fought at Wembley in front of 90,000 people. Apparently 60,000 tickets sold in the first 24 hours. And the purse split for this one was reported, or rumored, I should say, 203 million.
Yeah,
so
like there's
Usyk,
a lot of money, buddy.
Like Usyk made 132 million for 5 rounds of work. That was the rumored amount he got just out of that fight. $132 million, not pounds. As far as who I want to see him fight next, I want to see him retire. He has nothing left to prove. He was undisputed in 2 different weight classes, one of only 3 boxers ever to do that. Here's the biggest thing for me is this. He beats AJ, Tyson Fury, and Daniel Dubois, the golden boys of British heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
And the British promoters say, no, that's not enough. So Usyk spins the block and he does it again. He beats them all again and he does it more convincingly. He knocks out Dubois in the 9th round in their first fight, knocks him out in the 5th round in the second fight. Split decision with Tyson Fury the first fight, unanimous decision in the second fight. Beats AJ more convincingly the second time as well. Like he beats all the guys he's not supposed to beat, being, as Tyson Fury calls him, a blown up middleweight. And he actually was. He, as an amateur fighter, he was fighting at 165 pounds. So to go up to and do what he did at cruiserweight and heavyweight, incredible. He has nothing left. He's 38 years old. He's made more money than he'll surely ever need. It's similar to Dustin Poirier. Very different end results, but it's similar. Like retire before the sport retires you. Now, I don't think there's anyone at heavyweight who could challenge Alexander Usyk. The one guy you would maybe say is a name you could throw out there as someone he could fight would be Joseph Parker. The Kiwi, who has held versions of the world title in his own right, who has beaten Deontay Wilder, even though Deontay Wilder's been on a slide here in the past couple of years. He would be the one name that I guess is left, but he doesn't need to do it. Like he's beaten everybody. He's beaten them twice. He's been undisputed 3 times at 2 different weight classes. He has nothing left. For my money, we're not allowed to say this because heavyweight is such the historical division of boxing. He's at worst the 3rd best heavyweight ever. Probably the best. Like he probably beats any heavyweight ever. We're not allowed to say that, but he probably
ever.
I think so. He moves better than anyone I've ever seen at heavyweight. His technical ability is better than anyone I've ever seen at heavyweight.
But is a lot of that just due to the advancements in training?
For sure. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, you for sure. Like if you put, and I actually think Muhammad Ali still has the best movement ever at heavyweight. You have to give him that credit, even if you're not the biggest Ali guy, which everyone is. Everyone loves Ali. You have to give him credit for the movement. Yeah, of course. You put Joe Louis or Rocky Marciano, or even going further back like a Sam Langford or a Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey in this era, and they'll find ways to do what Usyk did. But he still has a natural movement and flow that comes from being a lighter guy, from being a natural cruiserweight.
Right.
And like I said, middleweight is an amateur that heavyweights don't have. And really the only other heavyweight that's ever had is Muhammad Ali. And even past that, like Usyk has this technical ability that you just don't see at heavyweight. Like his cardio is incredible for the heavyweight division because they're bigger guys. They gas a little faster. Usyk doesn't have that. He maintains it very well. He moves in and out incredibly well. He cuts angles incredibly well. He picks his shot in a way that heavyweights don't usually do. So yeah, I mean, he's incredible. One of the best to ever do it. I would like to see him retire on top because it's very, very rare we get to see a guy truly go out on top. Like George St. Pierre in combat sports is one. Rocky Marciano and Floyd both going out undefeated. Joe Calzaghe, another. Would be a few guys in that conversation, but it's very, very, very rare. And Usyk's done absolutely everything he needs to do. I say go retire.
Yeah. Wow. That's totally fair. I understand. Like did he not? I think he won the Olympic gold.
He was an Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, 2012.
Yeah,
he was.
So
went out in the quarters in 2008 and came back one in 2012. He was 335 and 15 as an amateur. So pretty crazy.
335.
Yeah, 335 and 15.
Yeah, so that sometimes people say, "Oh, he's only ever fought 20 as a pro," but those guys like
it's
350 times. And I'm sure some of those are pretty short-lived.
Oh yeah. It's a little different over there, like in Europe, like here even in America, like in Canada, amateur boxing events are an event. Like they happen every few months, kind of thing. Like in Europe, it's every weekend, multiple times a weekend. So you really get to build your record up.
Yeah. So it's when I look at you see his name and you see his numbers, and I think it's important sometimes that just because he's not big in US and Canada, doesn't like globally he is massive.
Oh yeah,
really big, like 132 million. And it's like I think Jake Paul is ruining boxing in North America.
I agree. I totally agree. Now, you made the point off the top, like there isn't, some rich tapestry of US boxers right now, which is fair.
At the heavyweight division.
At the heavyweight division for sure. But even beyond that, like you look at like the marquee names would be Shakur, who doesn't really have Shakur Stevenson, who doesn't really have a fan-friendly style. Devin Haney, who got rocked by Ryan Garcia, who's marred with controversy. The one redeemable guy you would kind of have would be Bud Crawford. But like you said, the point you made at heavyweight, there's nobody. Deontay Wilder was that guy. He's clearly not anymore. And I think Jake really paints the sport in a bad light, because I think boxing, like at its peak, is they call it the sweet science. It's a beautiful sport, and the technical acumen you need to have to be a top level boxer is incredible and takes a lot of hard work. And you see someone like Jake who goes out there and just beats up influencers and retired MMA fighters and old men, and you have this whole generation who's watching boxing who don't know the sport outside of this farce he's put on.
Yeah,
and it's a horrible look, because you're going to have an entire generation who think it's just some like influencer streaming ridiculous
like
joke of an event without knowing the history.
I would love to see a real boxer just lambaste him, which would be, but he'd never do it because he's gutless.
Well, like
or I should say smart, because he knows he's got a niche market. He's able to capture the uneducated on boxing and be like, oh, I should pay for this.
The one real competition he lost, which was to Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is a club level fighter, I bet. Now,
Yes.
I think he would probably beat Tommy now, just because Tommy's not fighting, and like I don't think Tommy wants to be a boxer. He just had to do it because of his family. But he was still by far the best competition he faced, and at best is a club level boxer over in Britain, and he lost that fight pretty convincingly. Like there was a pretty clear speed discrepancy, there was a pretty clear land discrepancy, there was a pretty clear skill discrepancy against a guy who is not a good fighter. So yeah, like listen, I guess, I don't know. Can you give him credit for building his brand? But horrible look for an otherwise great sport.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I think it hurts it, and I wish more people wouldn't watch it, because to me, it's just people say, "Oh, it's entertainment."
He's also he's like a loser. Like who wants to watch that guy?
Yeah, you could not pay me to watch him at all. Deck, great stuff, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Declan Kruger, our resident expert when it comes to boxing and MMA. The guy follows a ton of it, knows everything about it, and Usyk, man, that guy. I watched this fight and I'm just like this guy is unbelievable. He's so good. And we don't hear about him a lot in Canada and in the US. And unless you're probably a diehard boxer, you definitely have. But for a lot of people, they don't. And when you watch that, and even watch really good boxing at any other level, like you watch Jake Paul, and people actually think, oh yeah, but he's fighting a guy who used to be a boxer. Well, give me a break. No, sorry. It's not. They're not even close. Like I said, a club boxer, Tommy Fury, is the one guy who was and he beat him. So that's what he is. And there's nothing wrong being a club boxer, but that'd be like equivalent to people watching and even like ECHL and thinking like that it's on par with the NHL. Right? That's what it would be. Quick break. We'll return. Woodley joins us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's gonna love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings, like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Hoop City 3x3 Festival takes over the Ice Palace at West Edmonton Mall from July 31st to August 3rd. See professionals and Olympians battle for ranking points and cash prizes in 3 different FIBA 3x3 events. Free admission. Details at sports1440.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$428. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Monday afternoon. We're going to get to Kevin Woodley now as we get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Stop in at McD's right now as the international menu heist is ongoing. Try Germany's Big Roasty, Belgium's Biscoff, McFlurry, Italy's McPizza Bites, and Japan's Teriyaki Chicken. Only for a limited time at McDonald's, as Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's probably a good thing we had a little bit of a break there because I was in the green room, as they say, and when Gene Principe's ad came on, I was literally laughing so hard that I needed a moment to collect myself before I joined you, Jason. So I'm glad we had a little break there. He's the best.
Oh, Gino is pretty funny. Today, I'm hearing. I think there's much more likelihood the Oilers. Maybe they make a trade with a guy to push Pickard, or maybe they look at the waiver wire, kind of, because there's a few teams, DiPietro. And I want to get your thoughts on DiPietro because, we've seen this before. It's not 100%, but we've seen lots of guys in an organization that just, they're not getting an opportunity for whatever reason. And, Kiprasov would be the greatest example of of a number 3 who went somewhere else and, became a Hall of Famer in Calgary. And the guy was one of the best goalies in the league. Now that's obviously best case scenario, but you knew DiPietro in Vancouver. So give me the rundown on him and why he might be a good option if he hits the waiver wire or a possible trade for the Oilers to look at.
Okay, so Kipper is definitely the best example, but there's also a reason that's over 20 years ago, right? It's not like it happens all the time. I actually think one of the more recent examples without changing teams is probably Jordan Binnington, right? In terms of later blooming, was going through waivers, actually went to another organization because the Blues wanted to send him to the ECHL, but he went to another organization in the American League. So you can find these guys. And certainly when the Bruins value a goaltender, it's worth raising the eyebrow because they tend not to miss when it comes to goaltending. And so I know Michael DiPietro well, to the point where I'm probably a bit biased, Jason. I mean, he's the AHL Goalie of the Year. We had him on the podcast at Ingo Radio at the end of the season. I knew the kid at Hockey Canada POE, knew him as a Canucks prospect, and it's really hard not to like this young man. So from a personality, from a work ethic, from a been through a lot, because it didn't end well or smoothly, or wasn't handled all that well by the club here in Vancouver when he was traded, when his time did end here. And yet he's battled back to sort of put himself in this conversation. He's a leave no stone unturned, always looking for ways to get better guy, undersized a little bit, but has incredible battle and athleticism. And ironically, I think over the past couple of years has learned how to use it more efficiently and go to that battle and athleticism much later and less often than he used to coming up. Everybody talks about small goalies, the irony, and I remember having this conversation with him is when he first came up to pro out of junior, his biggest issues was sort of low shots just over his pads, not up around the bar or over the shoulder or anything like that. And it was sort of an access to pucks issue based on the way he moved and tracked and the sort of body mechanics of it. And I'm telling this story because he went and found a solution to it. And that's the kind of goalie he is. Numbers are exceptional in the American Hockey League. I love where his mindset is when I talk to him. But this is one of the limitations of ClearSight Analytics. And at the end of the day, I don't watch enough of Michael DiPietro in the American Hockey League to look at that game and go, this is going to translate. This is why I lean so much on the numbers. Because they can separate the apples and the oranges for me. It's really hard to do otherwise. And so as good as it's been, I don't know how directly that's going to translate. I just honestly can't say. And so, the Oilers are a good defensive team. I think that's been overlooked for a couple of years now, at least outside the market. You and I have talked about it a lot. So they should be a soft landing for any goaltender. But I think this is one where they'll have different analytics on it than what I would have because they've got American League numbers. And this is where you lean on your new goalie coach. I would hope that he's a part of those conversations in terms of, do you see in video things that you think have an upside? Or, and I'll give you the Artur Shilov's comparison, because there's a goalie I knew really well, whose game I understood, who by some reports there was interest in from the Oilers. He just went on a hell of a run in the American Hockey League. And after having watched much of that run and knowing his game and watching what led to an 865 in the NHL last season, I still have questions.
Yes, thank you.
About whether AHL translates. Yeah,
that was my next question for you was people are like, oh my God, Shilovs and this, he's a can't miss. And I'm like, well, the American League, the best shooters in the American League on average are third or fourth line guys in the NHL, maybe. Right? That's you might get a young guy who's coming up and he plays a few games down there, but that's usually not the case. And so he's not facing the top shooters that you face in the NHL. You just don't. So when I look at Shilovs, I saw in a series where it was very easy for Edmonton to exploit a weakness, long shots from the points through screens, and he never really fixed it. So was there anything, because goalies, hey, there's lots of goalies that struggle early in their career, Kev, and then 2-3 years later, man, this guy's really improved and he's fixed his game. So when you look at Shilovs, what concerns do you have about his game becoming solid and consistent at the NHL level?
So there are two parts to that long shot traffic situation. And obviously the Oilers went to school on it 2 years ago in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And frankly, if they hadn't, this might be a completely different conversation about both the Oilers and Artur Shilovs, because at the beginning of that series, they were trying to beat him with bang plays in tight, like basically the offense you would draw up. What you would basically program as high danger chances, and he could handle that. Like, he's incredibly athletic. He works in and off his post very efficiently. He's got a ton of mobility in his game. There are a lot of check marks in Artur Shilov's game that say, wow, this guy could be an NHL starter. And then you look at the way he rises to big moments. Like, there's a lot to like in Artur Shilov. But the playoffs expose your game like no other. And this is actually an interesting point that I think a lot of people have missed about Stuart Skinner. Like, nothing puts your game in the microscope like a Stanley Cup playoff run. Yeah. People, they find your weakness and they go after it night after night after night. And so being exposed like that, or having that part of his game exposed a little bit by the Oilers, Calgary came in here on the start of the next season, first game of what was supposed to be his chance at the job with Demko out before Lankinen took over the net, and they absolutely went for distance and traffic and tips and trying to basically challenge that part of his game. And without the playoffs and without that being under the microscope, it doesn't happen. So that's still a question. Now, part of that, Jason, is traffic has never been harder in the NHL. Talk to any goalie who's coming in, even the guys that have been around. It's not just the intensity of it, especially come playoff time. It's the purposefulness of it. It's not just go to the net. It's go to the net, force the goalie to move this way, and shoot as soon as he does. Like, it is calculated at the highest level, especially against power plays. Yeah. So a lot of goalies struggle with it. And now maybe in Pittsburgh, where they're not so much worried, like they can live with an 865 for a little bit and let him get his feet under him. They're not trying to make the playoffs or win a Stanley Cup this year. I mean, maybe you don't tell Sidney Crosby that. He'll get an opportunity and some leash to figure this out, and maybe he does. But there are some mechanical things in terms of the way he sets up, tends to widen out, and tracks on high shots that I still have concerns about. Rather than cutting pucks off in front of him and tracking down into it, there's a tendency to sort of pull his shoulders back and turn and try and make saves, especially on the blocker side, almost behind his body rather than cutting it off in front. That's a tendency that I think teams will continue to go to school on. And until I see a more concrete change in that, I will continue to have those question marks. The other part with Artur is look at the success. Playoff run this year, playoff run with the Canucks last year, AHL this year, obviously, World Championships. What do they all have in common? Every second night, he's the guy, no questions asked. That's not going to be the gig when he enters the NHL. It's another adjustment that I think he can make, but I think it's also fair to question. If you're the Oilers chasing a Stanley Cup, I don't know that you have time to live with these guys being in the learning process of their careers.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com. And that's a valid question. What do you make about Dawes in New Jersey?
See, Dawes is one where I have numbers. Okay. And the numbers are really flattering. Like, they paint a pretty good picture. As a matter of fact, the adjusted, and here's the challenge, it's a small sample. Yeah. So they're not definitive. But these are the ones where I look at it and it's like his adjusted numbers over the past couple of seasons with New Jersey are better than Jake Allen's. And Jake Allen would have been the belle of the ball if he'd hit unrestricted free agency. Does that mean I think he's a better goaltender than Jake Allen? No, because the Devils have him right there. And if they thought that Nico Dawes could come up and replace Jake Allen, they probably would have made that move. Right. But the adjusted numbers in the small sample point the picture of a goaltender who looks like he can have an impact in the National Hockey League. Like, they're pretty flattering. Now, the one thing that I worry about is the two numbers that aren't as flattering. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, but the two on him that are concerning, one is breakaways. Okay. And again, small sample, but I think it was 14 goals on 41 chances. And so are you getting more of the same? Because that's been an issue for the Oilers. Hey, listen, nobody wants to give up breakaways, but those can be the game-changing saves. Stu struggled on breakaways. Calvin struggled on breakaways. You essentially would be replacing or bringing in another goaltender who, guess what, struggles in those same moments.
Okay.
He also has given up, and again, small sample, but more clear-sighted goals. So straight look, low percentage goals. Dominates in other areas, but those are the goals that, the low percentage ones that can sort of shatter a team's confidence. And again, if you're the Oilers and you're trying to build up, does it sort of make the bench sigh and take a deep breath every time one of those goes in? In a small sample,
out of the number of chances, I think it was 230 some odd chances, low percentage chances, he's been beaten clean 7 times, and your average NHL goalie only gives up 2 on that same number of chances. So that's a little bit concerning. And 2 things I would ask about that, if I was looking in the video and I was seriously considering it. Do these numbers, when I match the video to the numbers, is there anything I see there that not so much doesn't fit our team? Because remember, the Oilers give up a lot of low danger chances. That's a good thing. But if you got a goalie who's struggling on him, but maybe with all the technical, he's got a really sound technical game and a good size to him.
Okay.
Is there another layer there? Is there something I can fix on the breakaways, something I can fix in the tracking mechanics that'll help limit these goals he's giving up? Or is there something missing that's leading to these goals? And that's where you bring in a goalie coach, and that's where you have that conversation, because those 2 numbers do jump out amidst a lot of success in the other numbers. Those ones jump off the page, and you need to have that answer. Otherwise, you're bringing in a goalie who has overall better numbers, but might not be a great fit for a team that I think, amidst all the drama surrounding their goaltending over the last couple of years, probably isn't going to react well to a guy giving up more bad goals than he should.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. And it's interesting you mentioned that, Kev, because you were the one who pointed out in the playoffs, Stuart Skinner had the best goals saved above expected on low and mid and danger chances. It was high danger chances, and so that's an area that they hope they can improve on somewhat. And I know he's working with Francilia. We had the new goalie coach on last week talking about kind of his plan, and eventually he'll probably get out there, I would think. But he didn't say it specific, but he kind of suggested, like, he knew that Stuart was doing it, and he's had multiple conversations with him. So that's how you start that process. But you mentioned not allowing, like, so Stu Skinner, the fact that he led the NHL playoffs in best for low and mid, and you're like, hey, yeah, you give up a high danger chance, yeah, but a low danger chance can be more demoralizing sometimes for your team, right? So when you look at how Edmonton plays and what they give up, is there an ideal goalie that they should be looking for? Not necessarily an individual one, but stylistically or areas of strength in their game.
I think it's a hard conversation. I mean, at the end of the day, you just want a good goalie at everything, right? Like, you could take the argument I just had on the Dawes one. You'd be like, hey, well, except for the breakaways, you'd be like slot line and a lot of plays and the things that he was really good at. It's like, well, there were probably some games where this would have helped us. But would the big save in the third period matter if there was a soft goal in the first, right? Like, at the end of the day, and I guess this would be the point I would make, given what you're picking from, given that if you feel the need, and maybe they don't to the same degree that the outside and the public feels it, if they feel the need to upgrade the goaltending, you are not getting a slam dunk off the waiver wire.
No.
Right? Like, and the reality of the offseason, like, please don't interpret that as me being critical of them for not, because look at free agency. I would have been more critical if they did what they did the year that it was only Jack Campbell of Darcy Kemper. It was like, well, there's nobody available. This is what we need to do. We've talked earlier about how many of these guys might be headed to unrestricted free agency next summer. Now, the trend right now around the league is for everybody to re-up and nobody to hit the open market. And okay, that's a possibility and it's worrisome. But there are a lot, when I look at what they might need, which is a clear-cut upgrade, if that's what they feel they need, and you've got more time to figure it out, you'll have Peter Aubry working. Maybe there's something that clicks with Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. By the way, I got to throw this in there. I had a number of goalie coaches around the league, including some really good young goalie coaches that probably would have seen themselves as up for the job in Edmonton, reach out and say that they didn't think Dustin Schwartz got enough credit for helping Calvin Pickard get to what he was able to do for the Edmonton Oilers over the past couple of years. So I had to throw that out there because I'm not sure it was said enough.
Kev, that's not allowed in Edmonton, Kev, because everybody believes that only people get worse, even though there's no truth to that bogus myth. But
so had to throw that out there. So no, listen, but maybe something like we've talked about this, like goalies, it'll be a different voice and something will click. It might even be the same message, but with a different delivery and it might click. So you've got time, is what I'm saying, for both of these guys, because you're a good enough team to get to where you need to be without needing elite goaltending. But if you decide before the trade deadline that you need elite goaltending, right now
your chances of getting it a clear cut in every category upgrade are better looking at next year's unrestricted class and the possibility of maybe some being rentals, some being rentals, than taking a shot on a waiver wire. Now that said, like, waiver wires don't cost you much except the opportunity and the decision to put Calvin Pickard on waivers the other way. And that becomes worrisome for a very different reason. Not so much losing him, because again, the claiming team would have to have a spot for him, and I'm not sure that he would get claimed, right? It all depends on the timing of it. He very well might, but I'm not sure. Losing him in the room. Like, we've talked about how high that expected save percentage is, and it's not meant to be criticism. It's meant to be like, they love him so much in there. They battle so freaking hard for him. They play hard for him. Like, there was a reason they kept him last year, and that's because of how beloved he is and how much they battle for him. So I don't have the answers. I don't know what the perfect solution is, but I do think you have time, and I do think that, given that, maybe it is a waiver wire claim. We'll see. But I think your market has the possibility of being better. And I guess that's scary, possibility, because you got to wait and maybe everyone re-signs. But around the trade deadline than it is right now. And the one guy who's out there, and I haven't heard this name as much, had a really good season last year and got lost in Buffalo with it. James Reimer is the only other free agent goalie that had a better expected save percentage or was right there behind Jake Allen. It was Jake Allen, James Reimer, and everybody else, and he was not far behind. And he's consistently been above expected, and last year he was well above it. I don't know if Edmonton looks at that as the possibility of a clear upgrade. Statistically, it is an upgrade. Again, it's not getting you into the Bobrovsky class. It's not getting you into, hey, what if Jacob Markstrom or Philip Gustafsson hits the open market or is available by trade? But it's definitely an experience and statistical upgrade. Again, without DiPietro's numbers in the NHL from what's available on the waiver wire.
Kev, great stuff, buddy. As always, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for this. We'll talk to you again next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Jason.
Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Goalie talk. It's always fascinating stuff. And so some names that were out there. It's always good with Kev to break them down, some possible options. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions and more. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Reminder, I'll get your tickets tomorrow for Lotto Max. 29 million. PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca. Make harvest more efficient with Flamin. Our grain carts can handle from 750 to 2,300 bushels, including the 2,000 and 2,300 inline wheeled carts from J&M. Then, secure your investment with Meridian Smooth Wall grain and fertilizer bins from 2,300 to 7,500 bushels. For larger needs, we also carry heavy-duty corrugated hopper and flat-bottom bins, ranging from 5,000 to 50,000 bushels. From the field to the bin, Flamin has you covered. Visit your Alberta Flamin dealer or flamin.com today.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen. When I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob, but less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
And that's NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Monday afternoon. It's a big day if you are a Jays fan. Jays Yankees start a 3-game set tonight. Enjoy that. Scottie Scheffler, another win. Crazy stat that Scottie Scheffler, days in between his first major to his fourth major, were identical to Tiger Woods. Like, that is just, it's ridiculously freaky weird when you think about it. Exact same number of days. 1,197 from their first major win to their fourth. Nice. So Kendall Baker gave us that stat. Thanks, K-Man. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where the Brick's block party coming up. Check it out. As the price meltdown, 40% off select mattresses. You can get a 65-inch Samsung TV for only $799 and save up to $900 on sofas and sectionals right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, Hockey Canada taking the "if it isn't broke, don't fix it" route with their coaching staff at the Olympics, keeping the same staff as the Coronation face-off. Any changes you would have made, or are you good with the group?
I ain't broke. No reason to, why would you change it? Like, it's not even a year apart. I see zero reason to change it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, maybe a couple tweaks to the roster, but
yes, there better be some tweaks. Like, coaching staff is one thing. Roster is totally different. I could make an argument for 4 or 5 players being changed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But no, I like the group that they have there. A lot of experience, and should be a good tournament when it rolls around here next year. Coming off the bye week, any specific area you hope to see improvement from the green and gold the most?
The most.
You could say everything, but what's the most?
Well, I guess if I had to rank it, I'm just going to say defense has to get. They just got to be better. They got to get off the field, and then the offense obviously needs to connect on their plays.
I'll just say pass rush. Get to the quarterback quicker. When you get there, bring him down. Don't let him escape. Pass rush to me would help out quite a bit on the defensive side. Sticking with the CFL power rankings. If you had to rank your teams 1 through 3, what does it look like?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Rough Riders at 1. Calgary, very impressive what they've done. The defense has been very stout, but still like the Riders ahead of them. Vernon Adams was a great addition. And then out, Out east, sorry, I'll go with the Alouettes.
I'm going to have Calgary number 1. Their defense is way better than the Riders. They've given up like 40 fewer points in 6 games. Then I'll go Saskatchewan, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to be number 3. Montreal is out. They're on the way down, buddy. They just lost their starting quarterback, and Bo Levi is heating up, and they're spanking their own division, which is good. So I'm going to say Hamilton right now, number 3.
All right, question number 4 for you. Chris Paul back in Los Angeles with the Clippers. Of course, he spent a few seasons there back in the 2010s. What are the chances the Clippers can come out of the West next season?
Are you serious? I'll say like 3%. No, you got OKC, you got Denver, Minnesota. No, they ain't coming out of the West.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that's where he landed, but his decision. Obviously, some good times there. Lob City back in the day. Yeah, I'm going like less than 5%. I don't think there's a good chance at all. The West is so tough. So yeah, I'm not going to give him too much of an opportunity, but hey, hopefully he'll be happy there. Final question for you in honor of the late, great Robin Williams' birthday. What would you say are your top 3 movies or TV shows that featured Robin Williams?
Go ahead.
I'm a big fan of a lot of the work that he had. I'll say Aladdin, just the voice work that he did. Miss Doubtfire has to be in there as well. And off the board pick, I won't take Good Will Hunting, although that was fantastic. But 1 Hour Photo, he was such a creepy guy in that, and just showed his range. I thought though he could be funny, he could be kind of the creepy guy. I'll say those would be my top 3.
Okay. I am going Good Will Hunting just because I can't bypass it.
Mm-hmm.
I also Good Morning Vietnam I thought was fantastic, and I'm going with Dead Poets Society.
Got a lot of good ones.
Oh God, yeah. Like Fisher King was fantastic. Awakenings. See that show? Cons?
No.
Oh yeah, Awakenings is another good one I liked.
But I like Jumanji.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Doubtfire's classic. Hook was good.
Yeah.
Flubber even. I think I saw Flubber in theaters.
Was it good?
No. But
Jumanji.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh no, he's had a lot of good ones. I think I'm even missing one of his better ones at the top. Hamlet. It's pretty good in Hamlet.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not surprising.
Have you seen Hamlet? Like do you know what Hamlet is?
Yeah, of course. Read it for sure, but
okay. You didn't act in it?
No, I didn't get into acting in high school.
It's unfortunate.
I know. I wish I don't know.
Yeah, we had drama class. It was great. Monsieur Denis, still remember him. Great teacher.
Yeah, I did drama in junior high, but got out of it in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Could have been a star.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You could dunk in basketball.
Fifth
too.
extra.
Yeah. Fifth extra, exactly. Well, you never know. Maybe it could be like running the lights or something. Doesn't always have to be in front of the camera.
I could have produced.
Exactly. Could be an executive producer. Would have been fantastic. So, see, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Coming up, Spec. You might want to listen to what Spec has to say today, especially if you're an Oilers fan. Big opportunity coming up. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Looking to just fine tune parts of your game, custom training, cutting edge technology. Can do it all on ice and off ice. You go buy a monthly prescription at $300. Get up to 18 sessions a month. It's phenomenal. Check it out. 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
After leading Canada to victory at this year's Four Nation Face-Off, head coach John Cooper bringing back the squad for the Olympics in Italy. Hockey Canada announcing that Bruce Cassidy, Rick Tocchet, and former Dallas Stars coach Pete DeBoer will serve as assistants on Cooper's staff at the 2026 games. Connor Martone, who was selected 6th overall by the Flyers last month, is the latest CHL player to make the leap to the NCAA as he is committed to Michigan State for next season. Over in the majors, we got a full 15-game schedule tonight with the Jays taking on the Yankees in about 7 minutes time. You can also watch the Angels and Mets. Rays host the White Sox. Royals taking on the Cubbies. Rockies, Cards. Brewers in Seattle, and the Dodgers hosting the Twins. And some news from the CFL. Alouettes quarterback Davis Alexander on the 6-game IL after he aggravated his hamstring injury at the end of their win on Thursday against the Toronto Argonauts. Veteran guard Chris Paul signing a 1-year deal with the Clippers for his 21st and likely final season in the association. He was with the organization from 2011 to 2017. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Edmonton Elks linebacker Niles Morgan. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select major kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back,
Jason. Where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Make sure to swing by Nisku Ford in July to take advantage of rates as low as 0%.
Connor.
Choose rebates as high as $6,000 on 2025 models.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca.
Monday afternoon.
Above expectations.
If you're an experienced RV salesperson, you have to be concerned about the state of the industry right now. With so much uncertainty, companies are downsizing their sales teams, especially at new RV stores. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Nobody knows what the future holds. But here at Noble RV, we're hiring. And we're looking for a very particular kind of RV salesperson. Of course, experience with used RVs is always an asset here.
This role requires a good sense of what the used RV owner needs, how to help them solve problems, and enjoy more of the great outdoors.
You got it, Bob. It's technically a sales position, but with none of the rat race you deal with now. You'd be more of a problem solver, helping RV owners with their ongoing experience. Someone with a few miles on the odometer is the ideal candidate. If you're ready for an exciting new career at Alberta's biggest used RV store, come find me, because there's a future for you here with us.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:05 Sports 1440. I was reading the date, 7/21, July 21st. You're on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. I do want to get this quick question, then we'll get to Spec. Hey, Gregor, I saw your article about power play opportunities at 7,100. I know you only used the previous 2 years, but is that the norm? How much lower has it been in other years? Well, it's 500 fewer. So it was 7,578 in 2022. Then you go back to 2019, which is the last full season. They had 7,412, but they played only 1,271 games because there was 31 teams in the league then, right? So there's fewer games to be played by a total of, what was it, 1,271 to 1,312, right? And then there was 1,230 games, goes up by 41, right? At basically half a number of games. So even then, there was more in seasons where they had fewer games, more power play opportunities. It's a big issue in the NHL. That was the lowest this past season, was the fewest power play opportunities in a full NHL season since 1991. And guess what? That's when there was only 840 games. And they had, I got to go back. 1984-85, when there were 6,700 penalties called. And oh, by the way, there was 840 games played. So you can argue, if you look at like penalties per game, it's like the fewest. I'd have to look back since they tracked it. Like when in 1978 there was 4,500 and 720 games. That might be it. I'd have to look, but it might be the lowest in NHL history. That's how big of a problem it was. So if you were yelling at your TV, that's a penalty, and they didn't call it, you were right, because they didn't call it last year. Don't give me the garbage that the refs are great. No, they can make a mistake, and it's the NHL who decided, guess what? We're not going to call penalties. And you know who they don't call the penalties on? The best players in the game, because they're the ones who have the puck the most. And the majority of penalties are on the puck carrier. And it is something that needs to be looked at significantly if you're the NHL, because it's a problem. When it shows up like that, it's a problem, no doubt in my mind. Now, let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. If you have running water, think of them. You're driving your vehicle on the road, think of them. That's GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Doing pretty well, Jay. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, there's lots happening. You got Scottie Scheffler with another major. You had the Jays with a sweep. Now they got a huge series against the Yankees and then 4 against Detroit. This is going to be an unreal week of baseball. You've also got, we're talking goaltending with Woodley. There was some boxing talk. There's lots going on, man. Lots of sports happening. So I love having a sports show, because there's never a shortage of games to talk about.
Well, I watched Scheffler kind of walk away with that British Open. He's no doubt the hottest guy there is. He's the best there is right now. I'm going to say this talk about him being Tiger Woods is probably a little premature here. Like, let's just slow her down. I think he's got to win about 6 more majors before we're going to start to even broach that topic. Is that fair?
Well, how about this, Spec? The amount of days from major number 1 to major number 4, exactly the same between Scheffler and Woods. Now, he's a little bit older for sure. Scottie Scheffler right now is absolutely dominating. I think just like I said, it was premature for people thought Woods was going to catch Jack. It's hard to win that many majors. I don't think Scheffler's going to get to 15, but could he get to 10? Yeah. Like, for him to win just 1 a year for the next 6 years puts him at 10. I think that's very doable.
I guess. I mean, listen, Tiger is Tiger. Like, he was. Oh,
no, I'm not comparing him to Tiger. I'm saying get to 10, right?
Well, he could get to 10. Sure, he could get to 10. Would Tiger win? 16?
15.
15. So I guess I'm going to. I've been hearing this today. This is sort of the question of the day. You know, some version of, is Scottie Scheffler the next Tiger Woods? And I'm here to tell you that at this point, I'm not going anywhere near that question. I think he's got a lot more to prove. I'm not going to tell you that he doesn't have some more majors in him. Can he get to 10? Yeah, but getting to 10 and getting to 15 are a completely different deal. I'm not ready to. It's too. I know we're always looking for great quiz questions here, and are you in or are you out and all of that stuff. But Scottie Scheffler is not Tiger Woods yet, my friend. I don't care by what measure we're talking.
Yeah, well, he's not there at Woods' category yet, but he's getting damn close, man. He's already won 11 majors in 2 years. The best span Woods ever had was 11 tournaments in 2 years. The most Woods ever won in 2 years was 15. And this year isn't over. Scheffler could get to 12, 13. Like he's pretty dominant. And he's won 7 of his wins have been by 4 strokes or more.
He seems a lot nicer guy, too.
Well, that's not even comparable. Yes. Like the young Tiger Woods, the old Tiger Woods after he got humbled, sure, he was better. But, Tiger Woods I always thought was one of the big, like as far as a superstar goes, one of the biggest asshat superstars we've ever seen. Like you look at how Gretzky was and look at LeBron James. LeBron James has so much attention on him. It's hard to, like people, he flops on the floor. Give me a break. LeBron James has done oodles in his community, talks to people all the time, treats everybody nice. Like the worst thing is
the school.
Yeah. Like the worst thing maybe was he got his son drafted when he shouldn't have. Like whatever. That's yeah. So, but as far as it's not even close to me. Like, Tiger Woods, just how he treated people on tour, even like other people, just was, hey, I'm great, and I was never a Tiger Woods fan.
Yeah, no, that is fair.
Yeah,
but it's big. It's a good week. Jays are. They got 2 tough opponents coming in here, the Yankees and then Detroit. The only team that's going better than Toronto right now is Detroit, and they're coming in. Are they playing 3 or 4, I think? Anyway, good week of sports, man. And you know what? We'll get to the Elks when we get to them, but there's a lot for the middle of summer, we got a pretty good week ahead.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a huge week. Yankees, and then they go to Detroit for 4 games. The Elks also get back at it, and day 1 of reps, they're sharing reps between your quarterbacks. What do you make of it?
We were talking about this morning, and I feel like it's not right. This season was about giving Trey Ford the chance he never got under Chris Jones. This season was about figuring out if Trey Ford can play, if he can be your guy. And that includes some difficulties. I think we all knew Trey Ford wasn't just going to walk in the door as a starter and just run the table. So I feel like, Jay, it's not right when he has a bad game to just chuck him on the scrap heap and give up on the project where 6 games into the season it's too early. You got to take a bad starter. The guy gets a bad starter too. He's a young quarterback. They have some bad starts. Having said all that, I start him, but his leash gets shorter because wins matter here. The wins matter. He hasn't piled up more than one of them, and there's a shorter leash. This team has to start to win a little bit here, and hopefully they can do it with Trey Ford at the helm. But if putting the other guy in is the difference between winning or losing, then I think they're going to put the other guy in. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Trey Ford wasn't good last week. Totally fair. The defense hasn't been good all year long. We're switching off. That to me is the part that I'm like, okay, hey, if you're gonna hold your standard to the way Ford played, okay, great. Then you better hold all your defensive guys to it that are doing jack squat most of the time.
Oh, hey, listen, and that was where they were supposed to be ahead of the game. Like, I think, you got to get Ed Hervey on here and ask him what his expectations were when he went out and spent a whole bunch of money on that defense in the offseason. Like, that defense was supposed to buy time for the Trey Ford experiment. That defense was supposed to hold him in games so long enough that Trey Ford could figure some things out. They're not supposed to be giving up 30 plus every night. They're not, and when they do, that requires your young quarterback to score 35 to win a football game. Well, if you'd have told me at the start of the year that Trey Ford had to put up 35 every night, I'd tell you they're not going to win any, right? They need some games where they hold the opponent to 20, and they haven't had any of them. They got to get that. Defense has been a real disappointment and really the building block. Ed Hervey built this team this season on defense, and they have not delivered, not even close.
No, not at all. So they got to be way better. I think the play calling, especially defensively, has to improve, and we'll see. Like, it's not going to get easier. They're taking on Saskatchewan on the road, and the Riders look really good this past weekend. So it's going to be, it definitely won't be easy at all. And hey, if Trey Ford goes in and misses 3 deep balls, okay, great. I just don't want the offense to start the game overly cautious because he missed 3 throws. Hey, you made the right calls. He just missed it. So don't go back to being tentative saying, hey, I trust that you can make the throw, so we're going to keep calling the play. If you can't make the throw, then we got a problem. That's a different story.
Well, that's fair, and he did miss some deep balls. I thought, listen, I feel like they have some strong points. Their running game is strong. I like their running backs. They got 2 good backs. I think they got to make better use of them. Their defense needs to play up to its potential. We're 6 games in or whatever. What are they, 1-4 right now? So this is their 6th game in Saskatchewan, correct?
Yeah.
So they're 6 games in. It's time. My point would be you can't hang a whole game on Trey Ford's ability to throw 50-yard passes. Like, that's not a wise game plan. Maybe he'll give you a couple long balls, and that's awesome if he does. But if we're sitting back saying unless he clicks on 3 or 4 40-plus yard passes, we're not going to win. I don't like your chances of winning. There's got to be a better game plan. There's got to be more guys helping here in order to win in Saskatchewan. You're not just going to win on 4 or 5 circus plays.
Mark Spector joins us. Spec, I do want to talk a little Oilers because tomorrow on the show, we're going to have something that pretty hard to get. Well, you can't just go get it. But it's an opportunity to have dinner with Chris Knobloch.
Yes, it is. That's right. Chris was so kind as to give us this for an auction item. You're going to eat at it's a party of 4 with myself and Chris Knobloch. It's at Vivo's Restaurante out in the West End. Awesome. It's in September. It's got to happen in September. That's the only sort of rule here. And you know what? I've done these, Jay. You've done them. I've been fortunate enough to do them. I did them with Todd McCullough. I did them with Dave Tippett. I did them with one with Jay Woodcroft. I did it with Ken Holland. Was fantastic. We've done them with Chris before. We did one before. And it's really a cool chance to just ask all the questions that you always wondered about. Talk to him about, why do they do this? And why does this guy play there? And does this guy play better with that guy? He is awesome at letting you inside. So this is a really good opportunity. We're going to do the auction on tomorrow's show. It's all for Sports Central, which is great. Coming around my golf tournament on Wednesday. And it's just a ton of fun. 4 guys, or if you want to go 2 guys and 2 wives, we'll see if Chris's wife wants to come, and maybe Shelke will show up, and maybe we do it that way. So let's see what happens, but let's get after it tomorrow.
And we should say, speaking of Vivo, really sad day, but recently Greg Kenny passed away. Greg, kind of one of the main founders of Vivo, passed away after a pretty good battle with some health issues. And so for his wife Cynthia and his 2 boys, and everybody at Vivo, Greg did so much. I got to know Greg quite well over the years. He's a big sports guy. Actually, his son was in boxing. That's when I first met him, when I interviewed his son on my show. That was kind of the first interaction we had with Greg. And, he'd been at the Keg for a long time, and then he started up Vivo and ended up eating there quite a bit. And, he does a lot of charitable stuff with me over the years. And, I used to see him actually quite often downtown at the farmer's market on the weekend when I lived in Edmonton. And we were there because he was always buying fresh fruit. He's big on supporting local at his store, and all their stuff was local. And that's a huge loss in the community, and specifically for his family. So everybody at Vivo, our condolences for sure in the passing of Greg. And we can have a fun charitable auction tomorrow on the show to help out Sports Central. And a big thanks to Wilbur and everyone at Vivo to help out for that.
Yeah, they've been with us with the Mark Spector Golf Classic for all 12 years. They've got a hole this year. We had heard that Greg passed at Kevin's tournament the other week. And, they contacted us and said, hey, we're in for the tournament. We're going to help you out. We're going to do a dinner. If for some reason we can find a reason to have a second dinner, we'll see. They said we're all in for it. So, you know what? I want to say this, Jay. Everybody out there listening who's got a company or who's in business, like, you have good years and you have maybe years that aren't great. And, Vivo's, they spread out. They opened up a restaurant in Sherwood Park. They had one downtown. Didn't go so great. They ended up back, with just one restaurant in the West End. It's a fantastic restaurant. But my point is this: in good years and in bad years, those guys supported Sports Central and other charities and other causes around the city. It didn't matter how their year went; they were always first and foremost right up. They were, of all the people that have helped us at Sports Central with my tournament, Greg and the people at Vivo have been the ones that jump up as fast as anyone. So they're good Edmontonians, man. That's what makes our whole world go around and makes our city a great one.
Spec, we'll chat with you tomorrow. Have yourself a great day.
All right. Thanks, Jade.
There you go. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. So, yes, if you want an opportunity to have dinner with Chris Knobloch, you and a few of your friends, a few couples, call each other tonight, plan ahead, because stuff like this doesn't happen very often. And we will do that tomorrow on the show. We'll take a quick break. We'll return and we'll hear with the how can the Elks defense get better? Well, let's talk to the guy in the middle of the defense, their middle linebacker. Will join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When you look at a pipe, you just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Keeping your grass looking trimmed and beautiful all summer is a breeze with Toro in the Lawnmower Hospital. Head in and see a wide variety of residential walk-beyond gas and battery mowers with personal pace, easy starting, and with Smart Stow, saving up to 70% more room when storing. For bigger properties, try the Toro Titan with My Ride suspension. Financing available. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $12,000 off a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali Ultimate only at gmccanada.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
525. The weekend was in town. Did you go to a concert? How was it? Let me know. 833-401-1440. I know it rained early, but hopefully that was it. But I know the Comedy Fest had a little bit of rain as well. So hopefully it all came out all right. I've seen the weekend once before. Oof, quite liked it. So to be honest, kind of missed the boat on getting tickets this time around. And so note to self, but pretty big last now. He's an outdoor stadium tour guy. So big deal. Big deal. Now, speaking of big deals, gentleman who is at the heart of the Elks defense, talk a little green and gold. Niles Morgan, middle linebacker for the green and gold, joins us. Niles, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Going pretty well.
Good.
I think it's fair to say that, you guys haven't got off to the season that you were hoping for. And so let's start for the defense. As a guy who's right in the middle of it, you see everything. From your vantage point, where's the areas you feel your group can improve the most?
I think it's, week by week, but I think it's just overall, we all just got to hone in on our jobs and lock down the run and lock down the pass.
Now, you start on the run. Sound tackling is a key thing. And, you and Nick Anderson were right up there last year, and you guys are doing it again this year. As a group, though, there's been some missed tackles at times. Niles, as one of the leaders of the group, is that just attention to detail with guys? When you see that many misses, what's going wrong?
I think that we all just got to get on the same page as far as like our technique and, playing team defense, having guys, fly the ball and just focusing on the detail of it, of just making that play, just that intensity of, you're in a moment, we call it the gauntlet, and focusing in on a leg or arm and bring the guy down.
So can you work? Because I know there's not a ton of tackling in practice nowadays in full pads, but does a tackling dummy help? Can you use that? Could that help guys sharpen that for game day?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the tackling dummy can help. And then I know guys, including myself, we go after practice now, working on extra tackling, working on extra just angles and things that are going to come up in the game, and really just putting that extra effort in to make the difference for game day.
Niles Morgan joins us. And the defense was built to be really the strength of the team early on. And I think, when you look at the improvements on the D-line and some in the secondary, it felt like it would work out, and it hasn't necessarily been there. What about the scheme overall? How different is it defensively, is the scheme from what you guys ran last year?
I don't think it's that much different. We just got to play sound football, just get 12 passes the ball and everybody in the right spots and, make life easy for ourselves.
How about, the intensity? You've had 2 bye weeks early on in the year. I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe it's good for a rest, but is it hard to get into the rhythm because you guys have had 2 bye weeks really in the first 7 weeks of the season?
I just think that it's just a new defense, with some new players. Obviously, guys have worked together in the past. But, everything's just, brand new. It's just year one for us with JC, and we're all just getting acclimated game by game. Getting better, I should say, game by game.
What have you learned from JC as a play caller? How does he differ maybe from other play callers that you've had?
I think that JC is he's aggressive and he wants to put pressure on the quarterback. And I think that, I think that's the bigger difference.
Now, you as the middle linebacker, now, do you have to, are you sitting down with the D coordinator even more often to kind of, hey, let's get on the same page here. How can I help so we can take maybe, some of the calls that he wants to make? Do you ever get to overrule it? How does that work?
Well, it's definitely not a overrule, but
okay.
I'm definitely in his office more than ever, especially because he's our DC, but also he's our LB coach. So doing my best to always figure out what's the next steps and pick his brain and do the best that we can.
And then, so do that in the office. What about during the game? How much, we know obviously there's in-game adjustments. Do most of those adjustments happen, at halftime, or is it after every series you're coming off the field? How does it work, with the in-game adjustments between you and your DC?
Yeah, it's after every time we get off the field, we grab the iPad and we go over what we got to correct and what we like and what we don't like, and make those in-game adjustments right there on the spot.
So we know you had a bye week, and I don't know what you did. Like, I guess, tell me, what'd you do on the bye week? It's early in the year. It's your second one. Do you spend less time resting and more kind of in the film room? What were you doing in the bye week?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was here. I was rehabbing, working out, and just in my playbook, watching extra film, just getting ahead of, I guess, of competition in that way. Taking time to study our defense and study the opponent.
So when you're studying your defense now, are you also, because you knew you're going to play Saskatchewan, are you already getting a jump on that, or you're more trying to say, I want to figure out what we're doing so we get back to doing what we should do best?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
I said, are you working and looking at film on what Saskatchewan, because they're the next opponent, or were you focused more on, I want to just figure out our defense and we got to figure out things that are going to work for us?
Well, I'll say, it's always just to answer that question, it will be both. The saying is that to know thy opponent and to also know thyself. So you gotta study the opponent and you gotta study, our defense and what we have to do and all the nuances of that.
So Saskatchewan's the opponent. They played very well. You're in Saskatchewan. You've been there before. You know it's a hostile environment. It's a fun place to play. What is it about their offense specifically that you're going to have to be the most in tune to shut down?
First and foremost, you got to stop the run. They pride themselves on running the ball, so we have to make sure that we do our due diligence, study the run to a T, shut them down. So
obviously you always want to shut down the run, Niles, but without giving the game plan here, but is it like, what is it? Is it individual responsibilities, making sure guys are in the A gap or the B gap in a certain run play? Like, what's going to allow your defense to get better at shutting down the run?
I think just week by week as we pull together, like you just said, everyone's just doing their job, fitting things the right way and understanding where to be and how to play certain run schemes.
Niles Morgan joins us. Niles, after the last game, I think both the offense and the defense, no one was happy with how they played. As a defense in practice this week, what do you think you can do that can not only help yourself, but maybe also help your offense when you go head-to-head in practice?
The best thing to do is to set the tone, set the tone for how we want to be as a team, especially on defense, coming out the gate and coming out hot and staying hot and make sure that we finish just like we need to finish in games.
And being one of the leaders on the defense, I know that, some teams, the defense and the offense kind of stay in their own lane. Others, they really like to intermingle. Do you have conversations with a young guy like Trey Ford and how you can help him? Or is that not really something as a linebacker you're having convos with the quarterback?
No, yeah, we have conversations with everybody, just being a leader on the team, wherever, I can help or we can help as captains. We try to do our best to supplement everybody, not just me just sticking to my corner of defense, but, talking back on special teams, talking guys on offense, just collectively, we all are in this together.
Yeah, and like your offense was trending in the right direction. Heck, Trey Ford had a perfect QB rating a few weeks ago against Ottawa, and then, it started out, they had the right reads, they just didn't make the throws. So what was your message to Trey coming out of the bye week?
Well, I didn't have necessarily a direct message to Trey this time, but, for our offense, just to stay hot. We found the recipe. Now to keep working that recipe into the game plan every single week.
And overall, it's not the start you wanted record-wise. There's been some games where you're right in it. I think, I look back at that Winnipeg game, you're right there really until the fourth quarter, Niles. New coach, new DC, new secondary coach, lots of new players. Is there a feeling out process? Do you believe in that? And do you think that maybe hopefully you're past that and now you might get better results moving forward?
If everything's always a process, we all have to get on the same page. And obviously we have camp for that, but it takes more than just camp and going against our offense. We got to see it live and things of that nature. So definitely a believer in the process. And I believe that we're getting over that and getting, more in tune with each other every single game.
As a veteran guy, can you take me inside, for you when you're watching film work, right? Like you've been in the league a long time. What are you watching for now that maybe you weren't able to watch for early in your career?
I would just say just more tendencies, just get my eyes to be more dialed into seeing a bigger picture. Just seeing how the O-line sets, seeing what the quarterback's seeing, understanding and trusting where the receivers and routes will break off, and just honing into my craft and always looking to make better plays, better tackles, and find ways to get interceptions and sacks.
And how many hours a day do you spend watching film?
I'll say at least 4 hours.
4 hours a day. So you obviously split that. Do you take it home with you sometimes and just watch it there? Or is it mostly at the stadium?
Well, no, you got to give yourself homework for sure. But yeah, we have film that we watch obviously after practice, and then before practice, and then I'll stay out. Well, I'll stay at the stadium for a bit, watch about another hour and a half, and then I'll go home and watch another hour or two of film. And you got to just break it up. It's good to study in different spots. So I study at stadiums, and I study somewhere in my house.
Okay. And how much do you balance studying your defense and then the opposition? Is it like 50-50, or does it vary from week to week?
I try to make it 50-50, so I end up having to spend more time on either, knowing our stuff or, knowing what the opponent's doing. Either way, it's always, I try to find a balance between both because, like I've been saying this whole time, it's still, year one for us as a defense. So there's always room for improvement, always room to make things better, and then pairing that with what the opponent and what they're doing.
Niles, great stuff, man. I really appreciate it. Best of luck in practice this week, and hopefully you guys get back on the winning side of things Friday night in Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah, we certainly will. Thank you so much.
That is Niles Morgan. So I always kind of like to get ask some different questions, insight into to what they're doing. He's the main guy in the middle linebacker, him and Anderson. And I think those guys, like, you don't see Niles Morgan, Connor, missing a lot of tackles, but that has been an issue for the Elks for a lot of guys, mainly the defensive linemen. I found that even when they've had pressure a lot, and then just being unable to wrap up quarterbacks, and not Trey Ford like quarterbacks, just like decent scrambler guys. And to me, and even running backs, I think that's been an issue. There's a few guys I haven't loved their tackling, even in the secondary, and I think that's something that's been a killer because it extends drives. How many times have we seen them have a guy short of the first down, and then he gets 3 more yards because he breaks a tackle?
Oh, yeah. I mean, go to the Winnipeg game, the Colaros touchdown run. Like, he should have been down in the backfield. You got to game one. Nathan Rourke, good athlete, but they had their chances to bring him down on one touchdown pass for sure. And that's just frustrating. Like, I feel like, you're in that secondary. You're thinking, okay, we've held long enough, and they've got to get the sack. If you're the play caller, I'm dialing up the right call. You're getting there. Why are you not taking him down? And that's just extremely frustrating because, like you said, like, it's a momentum killer. You think you have him. You think you're going to kind of, at least get off the field. And then all of a sudden, no, first down, extended play, and the momentum goes the other way. It's kind of like a pass interference call when you think you get a big second down stop. So, yeah, they've got to get on that. And like Niles said, like, it's got to be back to the basics. Make sure you're following through with your tackles, you're making through, not letting go, and 12 helmets to there. Like, everybody has to be flying to the ball carrier, and hopefully they can turn this thing around. Individually, they have the skill. We know that, but you got to put it together, be a cohesive unit.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We get a lot of texts and more when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
It's the Bricks Price Meltdown. Score hot summer savings, like up to 40% off mattresses and a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. Save up to $900 off sofas and sectionals.
and up to 25% off bedroom and dining packages. Plus, buy more, save more on select kitchen appliances, up to $500 off. Even more, find hot prices on Canadian-made pieces and get up to 15% off patio furniture. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Summer. The sun's out, the road's calling, and your car said, nope. Don't let your summer road trip turn into a roadside nap. Swing by Napa Auto Parts. Napa has the trusted tools, smarts, and quality parts for all your automotive needs this summer. Get your vehicle ready for the road and just in time for your kids to start testing your patience and sanity.
Are we there yet?
With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Need the perfect ride? The Golf Cart people have it. They offer a wide selection of new and used models from top brands like Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go. Whether it's a lifted cart for adventure or a sleek ride for the course, they'll find your match. Customize with accessories or choose a ready-to-go option. Trusted by Albertans since 1997 for quality. Visit golfcartpeople.com to find your cart and hit the road or fairway your way.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming events, visit ontherocksyeg.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.542, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Oh, so close, so close. Jays had the bases juiced in the bottom of the second. 2 outs, though, but could not push a run in. A lot of text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, the Elks could have held opponents to 20 points a game. They'd still be 1-4. The offense can't score and they can't win if you don't score more than 14 points a game. From Doug. Doug, that's a very valid point. It's a very fair point that, hey, does the offense need to be better? 100%. I don't disagree with that. But when the season began, they believed that the defense was going to be the strength of their team. And it hasn't been. Right? That's really been the issue. So, and the Jays are averaging, the Elks are averaging 24 points a game. Right? So, yeah, still not great, but they've allowed 34 points a game. So, I still think the defense is a bigger concern for me. No question in my mind. The offense, no one expected to be great. They spent all their money on free agents on the defensive side of the ball, and it hasn't panned out. Cons, what say you on the off? What is the bigger issue for you?
Geez. Well, I would say definitely it would be the defensive side of the football, because now you're starting to get the injuries as well, and now the depth is really going to get tested. We saw the team bring in 3 defensive backs yesterday with was it Bynum and Mechie going on the IL. 6 games for Bynum, 1 for Mechie. Yeah, I think defensively it has to be it, because you kind of had to expect some hiccups with Trey Ford. his first, full year as a starter game to game, thinking that, there was going to be those ups and downs where he's going to have to kind of learn some of the things. And defensively, it just hasn't happened. Now, maybe in hindsight, we could have said, okay, new coach, new defensive coordinator first time. Maybe that would have been a little bit tougher, but I think I would have expected them to come together just a little bit quicker than they have. And as I mentioned, injuries have played a part of it, but yeah, neither side has been good enough. You can't give any side any credit because, like you mentioned, and we've seen one good game from the offense and it came in the victory. Other than that, it's kind of been ups and downs and inconsistencies and missed throws and miscommunication. So I'd give the in terms of quality the edge to the offense, but it's not that much.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like you can sit here and say the offense has been great. Far from it. I don't discount that at all. We'd at least seen some games where the offense was trending upward. And then obviously that fell flat in its face last game. So what do you make of the split reps between Ford and Fajardo?
I'm interested in it, and I mean, I've kind of thought this way for a while, just watching Trey Ford, and there's some boom or bust potential with him. Like there's going to be times where he's going to give you those splash plays, but I don't think you can rely on that consistently to win you football games, right? You still have to be able to drop back, make those throws, which I think we've seen time to time from him. And again, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again this week. I think he's just got to trust his reads. He's got to, step back, make the throw. Don't overanalyze it too much. Maybe don't make your second or third progression. If the throw's there, just take it, because there's been times, especially on the deep passes downfield, where he's just hung it up there. And then, if he throws the ball like a second beforehand, it's a touchdown, but instead it gets hung up. It's an interception just before half. We've seen that happen twice now already on the season, where if he can make that better throw, it could have been 6. Fajardo, I really don't know what to make of it. I don't know if that's kind of a way to put a little bit of a fire on the feet of Trey Ford and let him know that, he's got to step up and make these throws and improve his style of play. But I don't know. It's an interesting tactic, I would say, because it could divide the room, don't you think? Like there's got to be a little faction out there of the players that say, hey, we want to win football games. And maybe they see something from Fajardo and makes them think that this could be the guy to win us football games. It's an interesting tactic, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I think the player, I've never been one, like I guess maybe it could split the room. I don't know if there's that. If your room has factions already, you're screwed. So I would like to think that's not the case. I think they would look and say, hey, we just want to win. And you know what? Whoever gives us a better chance to win, most of the time, that's who the players want to play. And I think, Trey Ford, I believe he would start the game. The one bad start, I don't, to me, it would be a horrible message to send. Trey Ford had a bad game. He's now going to get benched. All the other guys on defense have had a bad game. They all get to play again. And they've had bad games almost every game. So to me, that wouldn't be a good message. Now, and I hope that the Elks offense says, hey, we're not going to be scared because Trey missed a few deep balls to not run him, because they were the right play to call. They beat their man. They were open. The quarterback missed them. So I'm not going to go away from that. I'm going to go, hey, Trey, I expect you to make the play. So I'm going to call it, because if you're a quarterback, like every quarterback has certain throws they like better than others, right? Ricky Ray, Mike Riley, they've all told us this. But that doesn't change the fact that, so you don't, if he hates a throw, you don't call that throw, but he can throw a seam pattern. And that's where they had guys. So I would, if those plays are open, I'm still going to go downfield. And if my quarterback overthrows it a few times, then I'm going to look and say, well, now I'm going to put in Cody Fajardo, because those plays are there. We're just not connecting on them, right? I don't want to go, it's not like the Elks offense, Connor, was doing nothing because they couldn't generate anything. They had the throws. Now, after that, they did nothing because they stopped throwing downfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, well, our quarterback missed 3. Yeah, okay, but keep trying, because you couldn't run the ball to save your life. That's not the quarterback's fault. So that's to me what I would hope that they do. You can't start to neuter your play. Maybe you can't make the deep throw. Although his numbers actually been pretty good on deep throws. That's why that game was so disappointing, because he suddenly couldn't do it on throws that he's made in the past, right? So that's kind of where I come out, is I hope they come out attacking, because if they try to be passive, they're going to get murdered.
Yeah, I mean, and it's an obvious statement. I think it's true to probably every football team. You want to play with the lead, right? Like you don't want to have to be coming out trailing and then forcing Trey Ford to make the throws downfield. I think, you keep it competitive, you stay within your game plan. If you can find a way to get an early lead, then you start getting that RPO going and letting Trey Ford and Rankin and Lee kind of cut you up defensively. Like that's the dream, and we've talked about that the past, going back to last year, having the three of those guys in the backfield. What a dangerous combination it could be, because the ball could go to any of them and they're all dangerous with the ball in their hands. I mean, that's what you want to see happen. You can't go out of your game plan and, fall behind early. So I'm interested to see. And if it does come down to Cody Fajardo, I mean, he's a guy in his career who's been pretty accurate, going back to last year with Montreal, completing 73% of his passes, 16-7 touchdown to INT ratio. Like, he's a guy who can move the football downfield. So it's nice to have that backup, have the luxury of having a guy like Cody Fajardo, who's kind of seen it all in the CFL. But like you said, play to Trey Ford's strengths. Don't shy away from throwing the ball deep downfield. I'd say, a couple designed rollouts as well. He's good at throwing the ball on the run. And if he has to, he can tuck it down and go for a run. But yeah, I think, just continue what you're doing and work to the strengths of your quarterback.
Yeah. Hard to agree with that. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. A lot of texts coming in. People thought insomnia should have been up there from both of us, Cons, on our top three for Robin Williams. Lots of votes for that. Hey, guys, they should play zone underneath and man-to-man on corners. Well, I agree with you, Bob, on they've played way too soft off the ball defensively. Now the problem is you're going to bring in a new safety and you're bringing in a new halfback, because Bynum and McKechnie are both injured. So can you now play more aggressive, Cons? What do you think? Like, that to me is the interesting part, is, as you mentioned, the injuries, right? Serezna's knee pops in and out. So what's going to happen there?
I mean, hey, if I'm the Saskatchewan Roughriders and you're like, how do we attack this? Trevor Harris, you're taking shots downfield, right? Like, you've got new members of the secondary, probably little play action, try to get them to bite. It's interesting. I mean, what I would say is, if you're going to start playing, zone combination with man with new players in there, it might be a little bit tough. And I think it could be an opportunity to open some things up. And, we've talked about it a lot, right? The corners tend to be playing a little bit back, and you're giving those receivers some space. So I'm trying to think, if you were to have a halfback drop down in coverage, or your linebacker to shoot out, maybe there's a little bit of confusion. I don't know if it's going to get Trevor Harris, but I don't know. I'm just thinking that if you're to look at it from the Rough Riders point of view, this is a game where I'm testing that secondary early and often, taking shots against them, because you're going to see some new faces.
Hey, guys, how do you watch 4 hours of video when the game has 8 minutes of actual play? Well, I think there's more than 8, but
the rewind button.
I get your point. And a lot of times, because you'll rewatch. Now, I had this conversation once with a coach, that you reach a point where now watching the video becomes pointless, because you're not catching things as quick as you can. You're watching over and over and over again. And it's just kind of a way, I'm working, but you're working, yes, but you're not working smart. So there is a line where it stops. I would think that you watch certain plays, and you're probably watching for different things on different plays. Plus, keep in mind, there's multiple different camera angles that you will show that the player gets. It's not like he just gets one video. You watch the angle from the side, then you watch it from the back, then you watch it from the other side. How are you going to see things differently? So it's a great question, though. And that's something we'll probably ask the next time. When you're breaking it down, how do you break it down when there's, like, how many times you watch the same play from different vantage points? Interesting. Coming up tomorrow, your chance to eat with Knobloch. We'll get to that. Also, a little bit more dive deep on the NHL, and we have a fun theme show Tuesday. So tune in for that. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a lovely Monday evening. Enjoy the Yanks and the Jays, or whatever else you're watching. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. PlayAlberta.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
After leading Canada to victory at this year's Four Nations Face-Off, head coach John Cooper is bringing back the gang for the Olympics in Italy. Hockey Canada announcing that Bruce Cassidy of the Vegas Golden Knight, Rick Tocchet from Philadelphia, and former Stars head coach Pete Tavor will once again serve as assistants on Cooper's staff for the games in Italy. Porter Martone, who was selected 6th overall by the Flyers last month, is the latest player from the CHL to make the leap to the NCAA. as he announced that he is committing to the Michigan State Spartans. In the majors, we got a full slate of games, 15 on the schedule. Toronto right now playing the Yankees, currently scoreless heading into the fourth. You've also got the Reds trailing the Nationals 7-5. Padres up on the Marlins 2-1. And the Pirates lead the Tigers 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Later tonight, Cubbies and Royals, Cards in Colorado. Diamondbacks taking on the Astros. Seattle will host Milwaukee, and the Twins taking on the Dodgers. Veteran guard Chris Paul signing a deal to return to the Clippers for his 21st and lengthy final season. And Montreal LOS placing quarterback Davis Alexander on the 6-game IL after he re-aggravated his hamstring injury at the end of their victory against the Argos on Thursday. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night long, and then tomorrow morning, local coverage resumes 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen